joined us. You're always one of our favorite guests on the chat. So hopefully get you down here in the garage sometime. But we will be in about 5 minutes, guys. Just give us a few minutes. We're setting this thing up. Um, yeah, if we do have a video drop out, I do have a second stream set up so we can use the. We'll jump to the second stream, but with any luck, it's been working well so far. We'll see how it goes. All right. You have a little volume so I can make sure it's coming through. Hey guys, how's it going? Just doing an audio check right now, sound test. Perfect. All right, you can turn that down.
Sound check, sound check. How's everyone doing tonight?
You got to talk a little louder, man. All right. So I'm not sure that we have any viewers yet. We'll just start with an introduction, and then we'll start moving in the show in a little bit. Hopefully we'll have a few viewers show up.
Yeah.
You are in the RC garage. This is my garage. I am JB. And we got CHelios in the garage with us again. He's a multi-time guest host with us. He hasn't been in a few weeks, but glad to have him back. And we got the troublemaking dog, Spike. Quit causing trouble, dude. Anyway, he's over there scratching at his bed. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Tonight we're going to go through a bunch of stuff. It's probably not going to be a really long show, but we will try to get through some things. We're going to talk about, we'll do an introduction where we're talking about just kind of what's going on in the hobby these days. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the drama online, but there's been some Traxxas drama. There's also been some cool stuff like racing growth. I've been watching a lot of racing online recently with the Nitro Blast. Where was that at? In Tennessee, maybe? So it was an 8th scale truggy and buggy off-road racing in a really big arena. That was very cool.
Very nice.
Mini Z racing. I feel like there's growth in Mini Zs. I've heard about something possibly coming up at an off-road track, and we had some racing recently. First time I've raced Mini Zs in weeks and weeks, and it was a lot of fun. I've got this Amazon charger that I bought for my buddy with his Amazon cars he got for his kids. I'm going to charge the batteries while the show goes on, and I'll just kind of do a running idea of whether this charger is worth it or not. He has some really small batteries, some little 2S batteries, so it's kind of a specific charger for that stuff. My Techno buggy, I hope to get around to. Hey, would you mind grabbing that body there?
Yeah.
I still need to trim this body out. Definitely needs to be trimmed. There's no, and peel the outer cover and apply some stickers and mount some holes. I might try to do that today if I have the time. Because not only do I have that, I have the black wing. So the body's going to be chrome and black wing, and the black hoons. So I think that'll be pretty cool. Hopefully we'll get around to that, but that could be a longer project.
Yeah. Nice show of versatility.
Yeah, for sure.
Good car.
And depending on how it goes, I may do something I've been trying to get to for a while, a slipper clutch rebuild on a Creighton 4S. The clutch is here and ready to be rebuilt. We have the parts. I just not got around to it. I want to do a Mini Z show and tell because I have my Mini Zs here today. So hopefully some of you guys might be interested in Mini Zs. If you are, please ask some questions. Let us know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Have you ever driven them? Have you thought about getting into it? Have you ever raced them? They're a lot of fun.
We got 2 viewers.
All right. We're going to do a race report. A lot of race reports coming up. We're going to do the Psycho Nitro Blast, which is the race I was watching. We're going to talk about CHelios. He's been racing 1/10 scale touring car on roads. Obviously.
Touring car.
Yeah.
1/10 scale touring car.
1/10 scale touring cars. Obviously, it's an on-road. Did that the last couple times in the last month or so. And then Mini Z Racing, which returned to Southern California, specifically the Torrance and Lawndale area this last 2 days ago on Wednesday. And that was a whole lot of fun. And the race report will probably come out around 9 towards the later part of the show. How have you been, Dave? Talk to me. What's going on?
Been all right, man. Been all right. It's been really interesting these past couple of days with the Mini Z Racing back online. It was one of the most exciting races that that has been in a while.
Yeah.
Of course, it's been a while, unfortunately.
Yeah, it has been. It's probably feels like a couple months, probably 2 months, maybe.
Mm-hmm. A couple months.
Yeah.
A little more than that, I think. We had about 10, 11 people show up.
That's good.
That was really interesting. Really interesting. Everybody had their own crazy style of driving. We had a bunch of new guys, and then a bunch of the old friends that showed up.
If you guys don't
Jesus
mind,
and Oliver.
I'm just going to start trimming this out while we're talking
Oh,
because maybe we'll get it done by the end of the show. Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
This is, well, we'll just talk about it later. Yeah,
really
what,
techno body.
man, I hope this works. I had a question. I'm kind of slipping my mind right now. Oh, were you saying you were going to be potentially selling your electric scooter?
Yeah.
You were going to maybe sell your electric. It's not RC related,
Mm-hmm.
but, you know, we're just kind of doing some small talk to open the show.
Yeah.
If you guys are out there and have anything you'd like to chat about, please join the chat and let us know.
Drop it in the comments.
Yes. And, well, actually, don't put it in the comments because we won't see the comments till later. Put it in the live chat that goes on during the show.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Don't
that's
do
what I
the
meant,
comments.
Not the comments, the live chat. Yeah,
Yesterday,
live chat.
maybe you're out there now, Kevin, or a couple days ago on the race stream, you were commenting, but it was going to comments. So, yeah, you got to do it.
Next day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, great.
And I know others have done that as well. It's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah.
So go to the live stream and chat it up with us. If you live stream chat with us, we'll see it almost immediately. What while we're waiting for some people to roll on in, let's talk about some repairs that we've seen recently. So, we both worked on a Creighton 8S in the last week or so.
Yes.
That had a chassis, basically a head-on, I guess, with another car.
Full chassis replacement.
Yeah. Well, you have to do a full chassis replacement because there's not half chassis.
Yeah, there's no way to.
So it warped
really
the front really badly. And it's disappointing, truthfully, because it was a Creighton, from my understanding, a Creighton 8S head-on with a Traxxas UDR.
Ooh.
And they're both pretty big, heavy cars.
Yeah.
The Traxxas is, I'd say the Creighton, I don't know what the weight is, but I'm pretty sure the Creighton is quite a bit heavier
35 pounds.
than the Traxxas UDR. But the Creighton was the one that took it the beating, probably because aluminum bends one time and then it's ruined.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you that UDR, if you could see the slow-mo crash, and I wasn't there, but it could fold up a lot because there's a lot more plastic on the Traxxas.
It probably bounced. That's crazy.
So
There's got to be something broken on that thing.
Well, no, no, because you know which one it was? The one that you put the battery strap in. Was there anything broke in it?
Wow.
Yeah, it was that one.
There was nothing wrong with the battery strap?
It was cracked. The old one was cracked.
Oh, yeah, but damn.
But no, like really,
compared to the Creighton.
But compared to the Creighton, I don't even think the battery strap was the same damage, like the same type of crash, maybe.
Yeah, a little crack versus the chassis damage.
Yeah.
Like, man. Well, goes to show that's a really good car. Pro scale though. You gotta treat it like the real thing, and it's gonna hook you up.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me see. I gotta transfer this. Get some scissors here. So what else? What else been going on?
A lot of racing, man.
No, let's not get. We'll get to the racing. What else has been going on just in normal life? Oh, this Traxxas drama.
Oh, the Traxxas drama.
Oh boy, I'm not involved in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and just state it. But there's been a lot of people that are involved in it that are not very happy. So apparently, Traxxas sent several cease and desist letters over the last 3 or 4 days, 5 days.
Tell me about it.
No, they sent cease and desist letters to some people that I guess were selling parts maybe, and I don't know if it was the selling of the parts or they were using Traxxas's name or likeness in a trademark infringement, maybe. I'm not a lawyer, but I know that people are not very happy about it, especially the people, kind of the smaller core guys in the hobby that have done, you know, put their work and time in, but they're just little guys that have like eBay or Etsy sites or maybe small sites.
Yeah.
But Traxxas, I guess the word is there was trademark infringement, and they weren't going to have that. So they not only there were cease and desist letters sent out, from what I understand. I also understand that they went directly to the website providers and told the website providers to shut down those sites. So several RC sites got shut down. Unfortunately, the people that got shut down are small companies for the most part. I think they're all like mom and pop companies. Traxxas has done this before. If you just type in Traxxas VS or Traxxas Versus on Google, you'll see about 100 lawsuits come up.
Jeez.
And it's Traxxas going after bigger companies like New Bright, who does cheaper stuff for Walmart and Target, to more popular brands for sure, like Arma. They had a major lawsuit with Arma over the Nero cantilever suspension design. I believe that one was. They went after Great Plains, and I think they put that whole distributorship out of business, basically. Great Plains is no longer around, and they used to be as big as Horizon for the most part. So Durango or Duratrax, they've sued. OFNA. You know what? Chris might be able to explain more about that, because he may have been working at OFNA when Traxxas sued OFNA, but they sued OFNA as well.
Oh, man.
That's understandable. I can see you guys threatening. I didn't say you guys. I could see a company threatening another company. But for a bigger company to threaten such a small seller is really, to me, it's low, kind of low. You're punching down. It's just easy. It's too easy for that company. In this case, Traxxas. And I'll give you something that I did. I used to sell. I did a lot of online sales, and I sold a lot of headphones. They were brand Beats by Dre. And when I say a lot, I sold hundreds of Beats by Dre headphones. I sold them personally on my eBay store, because I had a store from years prior, and the company I worked for was an upstart. So they couldn't really sell a whole lot. They only had limited listings. So I was selling, we had lots of Beats by Dre headphones. Legally obtained, not counterfeit whatsoever. Of course, Beats by Dre didn't like me selling them at the price I was selling them at, which was just a few dollars less than they were, I think. They sent me a huge stack of papers by his lawyer, and it was a cease and desist, etc. And I was like, this is so damn funny, because Dr. Dre is sending his lawyers after little old me. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm kind of doing something good, I guess, if I've gotten his notice. And it was before he sold to Apple. So that was the time that I've gotten into trouble dealing with a bigger company, and that was Beats by Dre. And I fought back with them and basically said, you can't prove any of these are counterfeit, and they absolutely were not. They stated that they had purchased them on this date, and this date, inspected them, said the cellophane was a different thickness than the ones that should have been, sold, that were not counterfeit. But anyway, I've dealt with companies coming down on you, and it's kind of bullshit, especially when you've done nothing wrong. I think what these companies might have done wrong, the wording. I don't think they've done wrong by building any aftermarket accessories. I think it was in the wording of their listings on their websites. And that's an easy mistake for a small business owner to make. You don't always understand the terminology that must be used, or a registered trademark logo. And I think that's what it is. I haven't looked that much into it because it doesn't concern me. I don't care about Traxxas. I sell a lot of them. It's an easy car to sell because the parts are everywhere and the cars are pretty cheap. But I don't own any Traxxas cars.
They're pretty durable.
I'd say it's. Well, I don't know if they're that durable. I mean, some of them are durable. Yeah, they're not.
Some, yeah.
They're not shitty. They're not undurable. Um, why do you think? Do you have any? You didn't know about this, did you? Have you?
I heard a little bit about it.
Oh, did you?
As they've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But it's been ramping up, and I guess if you fuck up your wording, and then they have the opportunity to go for it. They go for it.
Yeah, they're not doing anything that Traxxas is
took
not
them
doing
that
anything
long.
against the law. Traxxas is going by the rule of the law, and I think that's not the issue. The issue is if they're a corporate partner in the hobby industry, it seems like they would rather shut companies down than see the hobby flourish. And the hobby is pretty damn small. Let's be honest. Yeah. It's small. A lot of you guys are living in states that don't even have one brick and mortar hobby store. Think about that. We live in California where we have quite a few, but not nearly what there used to be.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of states that have nothing.
There's some in every corner.
So,
4 viewers.
Yeah, to not have the support of smaller companies, which a company like,
so we can see who you are.
Yeah, let us know who you are, guys. So this company Novak, which is now out of business, but Bob Novak had this for many years. I think he ran it out of Irvine. Started as a smaller company, grew. So many RC companies started small. They shut down Little Guy, CCRX, several of them over this week, and said it doesn't concern me, but visually for a lot of hobbyists, they don't like it. I've had it on this show. Many people chat and say, I forget what his name was. One of our viewers, I think from Seattle, says that he doesn't like Traxxas because of their lawsuit Happy Ways. But yeah, I mean, they're not doing anything that they can't do. It's all legal. It's by the book.
Yeah.
But it's bad optics. It looks really, really shitty when you've got some guy that's just trying to make a few extra bucks by 3D printing a part and you shut him down. That's really not the way this hobby, I think, was built. But then again, Traxxas really didn't come into this hobby the way it was built. This hobby used to be more do-it-yourself, all do-it-yourself, and Traxxas came in and changed it to RTR. So they've got their agenda. If you guys have any ideas, let me hear what you guys think about it. I mean, I think Traxxas does what they think is smart in a business sense. It probably is. Again, I hear the other thing is social media is so big now that when they do this, it gets blown out, and it could come back to maybe hurt them because social media is strong and smaller people people that don't have the money for lawyers necessarily fight in law can fight with their social media, and that doesn't cost them anything. I'd say just don't buy any Traxxas and get Arma or ARC, right? ARC, pretty badass company. It's real shit. Or, well, Techno, obviously. I love Techno. I just don't own any Traxxas. I've never actually had any Traxxas. A bunch of Tamiya. That stuff's cool. We got the Pirates car for sale today too, guys. It's a Jeep SCX24.
SCX24.
And he has got the, you notice that? He's installed a light bar on top, which is operated by a switch, so you can run it with or without the lights on if you wanted to. Primo, cool. $75 takes it.
Right.
It is bright. Blinding. But $75 takes it. So anyway, dang, I'm already doing this buggy, trying to get this done.
Art commented.
What's Art got to say?
Traxxas has been good to me. They stand behind their parts. It's like Metallica and Napster. These guys are ripping them off.
Yeah, and that makes sense, Art. But I don't know if they're I see with Metallica because they're playing Metallica's songs, or Napster, because we're freely sharing their music. But what if Okay, here's an idea. Jeff, our buddy Jeff, he 3D prints parts for our cars sometimes. Like what about when he 3D printed those um, uh, rear arm guards, mud guards?
Hmm.
What if Jeff was selling those on Instagram or Etsy and it said arms that fit, arms for a Techno ET48 2.0, or not arms, mud guards for rear arms on a Techno 48 2.0. That's all. He's printing them, but because he used the word for a Techno 48 2.0,
Yeah.
Techno shuts down his website. Do you think that that's fair for a guy that's just trying to make a few bucks? I understand not everyone gets into business and has a business degree. Some people actually try to build stuff by a 3D printer or do stuff in their garage, and they're just simply trying to list something and they get their listing wrong and they get shut down for something as simple as that. It could have been potentially, hey, reach out to them and say, can you change the wording in your listing? I don't know. Now, I hear Jeff's not selling them online, but if he was, would there be a problem with that? I don't think that they're actually stealing patents, though. I hear what you're saying. I don't buy that part of it. I don't think that what was stolen was patents. I think we could look at CCRX's parts and see that they're actually different parts that improve the TRX-4M. They're not copied parts, but I could be wrong. But even if Jeff was selling those online, why doesn't Jeff have a right to sell parts that can be installed on another car? It's not like he's copying them exactly. If he's copying them exactly, I hear you. But if it's not a copy, exactly. But those are Jeff's designs. But if Jeff worded his listing incorrectly or forgot to put the Traxxas registered trademark or Technus registered trademark, that's what's getting it shut down. I feel like this hobby is so grassroots, and I see it all the time. People come in all the time just trying to start little companies, that a multi-million-dollar company going after a guy that's making maybe 50 sales a month and it's supplementing, I don't know, it doesn't look good. Yeah, that's what concerns me. I just feel like it's the optics are horrible, and this has been the worst one because there's already a lot of people that don't care for Traxxas as far as their lawsuits, and they've never went after smaller guys. But I hear you. I mean, if you're stealing designs, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, but if you're in the biz, do it right. I agree. But again, we need to realize how small the biz is when it comes to most hobby stuff. There's a couple big companies. I don't see Horizon shutting anyone down for making Axial SCX24 parts. All of Axial XCX24 parts we sell all day long, hop-up parts for them from other companies. And they've never had a word about it. What it is, Art, is it's the TRX-4M and its lackluster sales that have brought this one on. That would be my thought.
They released a bunch of parts for it too.
Yeah, they did. They released the TRX-4M very, very low price point, expecting to sell, in my opinion, a lot of parts in the hop-up category. And they're not selling a lot. I know that because I see it. I also know that they're not selling what they'd like to because they've also recently dropped their prices again. Traxxas has been dropping their prices on and off for the last 6 months, 8 months. And to me, it shows that I think that their sales aren't as strong as they once were. So that's why they're not going over bigger companies. They're going after even the smaller companies that might be taking just a few sales here and there from them. Yeah, and they should crush the aftermarket, or they shouldn't crush the aftermarket. So I think you're saying they shouldn't, and that's what I agree. They shouldn't crush the aftermarket, because if you have a strong aftermarket following for your car or your brand, I think it makes your brand more. It just makes it more
Attractive.
attractive. That's what I'm looking at.
Makes it more attractive.
So in my history with racing motorcycles and ATVs, the Honda 250R, which was only made from 1986 to 90, I think, was the best race car or racer ever, or Honda four-wheeler. But the aftermarket was what kept it alive. The aftermarket, truthfully, made it to the next level where a professional would race it, and they kept that brand and that model on top for years and years because of its aftermarket following.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into Traxxas. Just want to know what you guys think. Like I said, we're not going to make any decisions on this show. We're not the deciders. I just know optically it doesn't look very good. Like I said, I've never owned a Traxxas and probably never will. They just don't appeal to me for the most part. There is a couple good ones. Art's got the good ones. X-Maxes and XRTs are badass.
Those are good ones.
But yeah, for the most part, they're not for me. I was actually in the hobby before Traxxas was in the hobby, or at least Traxxas I think started showing up around 87 or 88, but I was already messing around at that point. So I was surprised the first time I saw Ready to Run in a shop. When I walked in, I was like, what do you mean you can just buy this and drive? Because it just didn't seem... I was like, then every car had to be built. Literally every car. And it all came... No electronics. You had to buy everything. It was so different back then.
Yeah.
So, man, as we're talking... What do we say? We're about 8:30. Thank you for all your talk. Yeah. So... Art actually has another good one. X-Max's aftermarket has kept him in the hobby.
He's got a pretty car.
And also...
Your car's pretty good.
Yeah, Art,
Nice.
If there was nothing available for your aftermarket... I mean, the X-Max is a great car, but there's a couple weak points. Plus, a car with that much curb appeal, that size, you want to be able to visually do some stuff to it as well. It's not just performance. So... yeah, the X-Max is one of those cars that thrives off the back of the aftermarket. But I understand Traxxas wanting to sell their own stuff. So when they came out with that, they came the TRX4M. They also when Traxxas came, so Art says Traxxas was too slow to provide customization. Was slow to. So here's what happened, Art. They released that TRX4M. Their 18th scale, 16 scale crawler, 18 scale, 18 scale crawler,
18 scale.
for $150. I don't think they're making a lot of money on that. They also released a lot of parts, any part you can imagine, in 4 or 5 different colors, for that car. Thing is, they pushed it really well. They made a nice display that had everything on display. They had an off-road looking display with like a real off-road diorama thing on it. But no one's buying the stuff. And I've heard almost every day I'm at work, hey, when's Hot Racing? Hey, when is somebody else coming out with stuff?
So those guys are faster.
And when you do aftermarket, Traxxas has a bunch of shit, but it's still the same stuff in a different color. It's just not exactly aftermarket. Traxxas hop-up stuff, some of it's aluminum, yeah. But some of it's just different colored stuff. I don't think... Are they offering links, high clearance links? I don't think so. I'm sure...
Aluminum links.
Huh?
Aluminum links.
Are they high clearance?
No.
Yeah, they're probably not. I'm sure a company will come out with high clearance links.
Yeah.
The Traxxas is not going to have a brush... They shut down Fury Tech. You didn't know that one. They shut down Fury Tech this week. They're not going to come out. Traxxas won't come out with a brushless for that, I guarantee you. Fury Tech did, and guess who got shut down? Fury Tech.
Great. That sucks.
So that's what I'm saying is, if you want to have a thriving aftermarket, maybe work a little bit hand in hand with them. Maybe you can even license ideas to aftermarket so you can still get a little bit.
That too.
Yeah, little guys were faster, Art. And then what's that, Little Guy Racing? Or Little Guy RC Products? He also got shut down that week. Or this week, I believe. Oh, wait, let's not make it about that. I think...
We had 7 viewers for a second.
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
It comes and goes. No biggie. Art, he's one of my favorite RC guys around here. You know who Art is.
Yeah.
Art's big in the RC scene. He does
He's got the aluminum rims on his X-Max.
He's got beautiful. Hey, Art, who made those aluminum rims? Somebody was actually asking me about those last week.
Man.
Your blue aluminum rims. And I was afraid to. Well, I didn't know who it was. Also, you might not want to say. If Traxxas sees, they may go after that company and shut them down.
Oh yeah, don't say it.
Yeah, dude, they went after Fury Tech. Can you believe it?
Man, Fury Tech is cool.
It's
That's why everybody gets the SCX 24 because of its capability with the Fury Tech.
Okay, so let me ask you, Dave. What's the SCX 24 been out 2 years at least? The TRX 4M 4 months, 5 months, just before Christmas.
Yeah.
What are the sales that you see? I thought Traxxas would take over immediately and the SCX 24s would die away, and I don't think that's really what's happening. What do you think you're seeing?
It was underwhelming to me. It was pretty underwhelming. I thought it was also going to explode too, but it's done pretty good for being a very baby thing in their older brand. You know?
Yeah.
The brand's been around forever. They've established their names and patents, and they created themselves and made a name for themselves. But it's the first time they're dwelling in the little baby crawlers, which is cool. They saw the market was pretty interesting. But I honestly thought they were going to go into it and join the whole party of the 24s, the other 18s, and like just mingle with all the upgrades that everybody else is using, you know? But
no,
the upgrades are pretty interesting too, though.
I think it was smart of them to do a different size. Why compete directly with an 18th scale? And also, if they did that, a lot of the wheels, tires, everything like that would cross over. So people, at the moment they released a 24 scale crawler, you would have every accessory from the SCX 24s available, and they wouldn't sell any of their performance hop-ups.
Yeah.
So their stuff's a little taller. The wheels are a little taller. Though I've been selling. Some guy came in asking for brass wheel hexes. They're 7 millimeters. They're still 7 across the board. He got the smaller SDG. Who is that company? Or SSD wheels. And he got the smaller. Which one was it? Some Falcon tires. And he's going to run the smaller ones. He's going to run the smaller ones on his TRX 4M actually, and make it like a low. Kind of a slammed car or something.
That's interesting.
But yeah. So, whatever.
Dude, the upgrades that the TRX 4M comes with are they're good. They're pretty good. But I think it's just, boom. You get everything to upgrade your truck.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right. So, we beat that horse into the ground. We're done talking about that. Art says they're way too heavy from Vidavon. I believe they're too heavy because when I looked at them that day at the beach, they looked huge and heavy. But you were jumping a ton that day and no breakage. Have you had any breakage since then, Art? With the
any diff problems?
Any diff problems or breakage?
Rotation.
Because of that heavy wheels. I don't think you've had any problems from that, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe shredding spur.
All right, guys. I actually think I'm going to be able to stick this on my Techno tonight. So that's going to go on the Techno just for the heck of it.
Not bad. It looks pretty good.
So what I'm trying to do is figure out a way. Art says no problems, but the steering sucks. Yeah, I could see that. That is a big, heavy truck to begin with, and then you throw heavy wheels on there. It's not going to help anything. Too. It's not going to help the servo at all. The problem is, I don't know how big and heavy. Can you even get a servo good enough for an X-Max or a XRT?
1,000 kilograms.
Well.
There's 1,000 kilograms. Reefs makes one called the Beast, and then ProTech has the PBL 1K.
Yeah.
Awesome servo. They We'll power those wheels. And then there's bigger, there's better. You just need to adjust to what you're doing.
Yeah. Hey, Art,
Racing
what do you
tomorrow?
mean racing tomorrow? Where and
Where's
when
the
is the
race?
racing?
What racing?
He says the fit is tough on X Max.
Mm,
And that's what I thought. I thought it's potential.
that is tough. Yes, indeed.
Are you talking about over at El Nido, Art?
Yep, that's what he said.
Oh.
El Nido.
I don't know. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not for sure.
Stupid.
Not I have volleyball practice in the morning till about noon or 1. And then maybe if I can. I'm exhausted usually after that, but the track's been fun recently, so I'm going to try to probably.
What's the status on the stream? Are we good?
Oh yeah. Excellent connection. It's all working well so far.
All right, cool.
Love to hear from you guys if anyone's out there. Let us know what's up. Just trying to get this body dremeled out or set up a little bit.
I'll just have the whole thing cut out.
I can't believe it's getting. Actually almost got it. I'm probably gonna have to Dremel this backside of it, but I'm not gonna do that part tonight. But I think if I pop a hole here, it'll probably work. So we were going to talk about some different things, an Amazon charger review.
I'm done.
I bought this charger off of Amazon for my friend, Bill. He's got a couple of younger kids that are just driving some cheaper Amazon cars. And we'll see. I don't know if we're going to go through with it because I'm really having fun messing with this for now. I like to rather get this project done instead of jumping off on 2 more projects and not being able to get something finished.
Yeah.
David, we didn't talk about it, but what is do you have a rants or raves for this week? I have a rant. I'll start off with my rant. It is a situation where, and it's happened more than once in the last week, where we've got customers that come by and they're very interested in making their car stronger, but they just keep buying aluminum aftermarket accessories, namely inexpensive Amazon shocks and inexpensive aluminum off of Amazon.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe how poorly it fits.
Yeah, fitment's usually terrible on those parts.
I've had to install it a few times in the last week or so. And we're also seeing where, if you look at my Instagram pictures from last week, I think I posted it. If not, I'll post it later this week. They're cracking chassis, literally breaking chassis in half because the every arm up front is switched to aluminum.
Oh, man.
The steering links are switched to aluminum. The bulkheads are switched to aluminum. Diff cases, shock uprights. And so they hit something, and so now the chassis breaks.
Is the chassis.
And so we're replacing every part, switching it over to a $20 chassis instead of replacing a $5 A-arm. I can't, that makes no sense to me. I look at, I want to tell people, watch the guys that do this for a living, watch a professional RC car racer, and look at how much aluminum he's got hanging off that car, and just copy him. Because he's probably got 0 aluminum hanging off that car. Yeah. His shock tower uprights are aluminum in every car. His chassis is aluminum. He probably doesn't have aluminum braces because a lot of times that makes cars less flexible. Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of, because the composite plastic will flex. It'll flex. You need composite plastic. You need it. You need flex in your car. If not, it's going to come apart. So that has been driving me wild. People are dropping a lot of money into that. Guys, if you could give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe,
thumbs up,
share,
like share.
We would really appreciate it.
And hit the chat.
No, it's been a great time. Yeah, and please join in on the chat, guys. we'll change the whole direction of the show if you guys just have an RC question. We can talk about anything you guys want.
We're here for you guys. We
Yeah.
just got all these words to say to keep the time going.
Yeah, we're just sitting here talking, but we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk a little, let's see, where were we at a second ago?
Talking about aluminum stuff.
Oh, okay.
The aluminum not recommended in certain areas.
Okay, so let's just take Traxxas brand, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Traxxas two-wheel drive slash. What are the first things to break?
Sometimes it's the A-arms. Sometimes it's shock rod ends.
C-hubs, bearing carriers, always. Probably the bearing carriers and hubs are like, not a C-hub, but that kind of like a hub.
The bumper.
And they're the first thing to break. And every time there's a replacement, I always recommend RPM because you can grab it and you can flex it. Grab an RPM arm, grab the Traxxas arm. The Traxxas is going to be more hard, which is harder. Is great if you need like.
If you need stiffness, you can go to that one. You know,
for a car that's gonna.
It's
if you're
still great.
Yeah.
Still great. But RPM is got more flex. It won't just snap on you.
Yeah. When I used to race 10 scale buggies, these cars would all come with a different, like a regular plastic, but they also came with hard plastic. There was a version called hard, like if you wanted the hard arms. And it's not harder, like they're stronger, they're hard. Meaning, if you're on a really hard packed clay track, almost asphalty, to me, you want as much direct feel as possible. So you get very stiff components, like a harder arm. But if you're a shitty driver like me and you tap something, it is brittle. It's hard, but brittle. You don't want that. You want something flexy. RPM, flexy.
Bounce back.
Traxxas, not too flexy, it cracks. Aluminum, no flex.
No flex.
Bends, done.
Breaks
binds forever. You get one bend and it's bound forever. Just
sometimes
don't
you get
do
that
it.
little bend that you can't even tell until later on when it just doesn't drive straight forever.
Yeah, just don't do it. There is some stuff that's okay. It does look good. I don't mind the way it looks.
If you don't want to use RPM, just stick to the Traxxas stuff. Just stay Traxxas. Traxxas makes good stuff for their own cars.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I my thing was about how much aluminum I've been seeing recently.
There's been a lot of aluminum.
On some cars, it's not a big issue at all. On some cars, I can't believe it. Now, Art's somebody that uses aluminum, but he does it very tastefully, if you ask me. Art's got some aluminum stuff on, I think, both. Well, I know the XRT and possibly the X-Max has got some on it, like the gear case. I think he's got some aluminum gear case stuff. But I mean, it looks good. It was some good stuff, if you ask me. Oh man, I got a
timing.
So we are at 8:45 and it's 72 degrees here in the JBRC garage again. We got the Pirate Mike Special C10 Jeep Axial SCX24, only $75. Comes with the cool head top light with an on-off switch. If you're interested, just let me know or hit up Pirate Mike on Pirate Mike RC on Instagram.
.com.
No, not on .com. What I heard, Dave, you've also got something for sale, don't you?
Electric scooter.
Ooh. You've probably got the fastest electric scooter known to man.
Not the fastest, but one of the fastest in its class. It's nice. 65 miles an hour.
Oh, Brandon said hi. This is amazing.
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
Let me tell you, I've known Brandon for a long time now. At least, it seems like, what year is this? 03? 03? I bet you we were working, no, it's 23.
It's 23.
It's 23.
2000.
It was around 2013 when we were working over at another shop in Lomita. Me and Brandon were working together at a different shop. And he worked in the store. He did a lot of the repairs in the store. And he really does, he's never got out of the hobby. Really nice guy. Skateboards too. I'm a skater too, even though I don't look like it. Got a shit ton of boards around here. Yeah, man, he's a cool dude. Brandon Strickland, check him out. I forget if you want Brandon, share. I think it's the real B Strick, but you can share your Instagram if you want on there, or a TikTok if you have that as well. He does drifting as well, so he's big into the drift RC scene. He was also doing drifting in, you know, full size cars as well, but in the RC scene. And Brandon knows what the hell he's talking about. He's a straight shooter.
Cool dude.
And knows exactly what he's talking about in RC. He's been doing it a long time. And one of the friendliest, nicest guys. Truthfully, Brandon, you got such a good attitude. I wish I was always in a good mood like you. You always seem to be smiling and just happy. And I'm ready to fight at the drop of a hat. So, yeah, it's totally different. I take this hat off and drop it. No, man, just chilling. But thank you for tuning in, Brandon. Let us hear more from you if you have any questions or want to stop in sometime, something, let us know. Yeah, we were at, I was going to talk about the slipper rebuild or the Mini Z show and tell. You know what? Why don't you take the Mini Z show and tell while I continue trimming out this car? You can do my Mini Z show and tell.
Yeah.
You know what the hell they are. All right, guys. So if you know Mini Zs, oh, here they are.
They're right over there.
I brought my Mini Zs here so we could talk about the, prior to going into the Mini Z race prep, or sorry, the race report. We'll get the cars out. One thing I like about Mini Zs, I literally carry everything for my Mini Zs in this. I don't have a nice controller. If I did, it would be in something else. But as it is, this is my Mini Z setup. Not sure if you guys can see that there. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit maybe so you can see a little better.
I think you can move it a little more this way.
Well, I'm afraid it might have an issue with the
oh, that's true.
video.
There, might go back that way. There.
It's good. It's fine.
Still good?
Perfect. Yeah. All right, guys. Sorry about that.
I felt like I was going to the
So, Brandon, you need to come by and do some racing with us. We'd love to have you out there with the Mini Zs.
Yeah.
You can borrow one of mine if you want. Here's my Mini Z setup. Harbor Freight toolbox for about $15. I'm running the, this is what comes with a Mini Z. When you buy a Mini Z,
Mock stock.
this is a
Kyosho KT531P.
It's not a horrible radio. For as little as you pay for the Mini Z and the radio, it's actually really
decent. It's
really
decent.
pretty decent, considering how little is paid for it. I got a tire stuck on my antenna. That's probably why I'm probably having some bad service there. Guys, if you could give us, remember to give us a thumbs up and share it. That would really help the thing go. But this is where I have two car controllers that lay down on top. I have extra batteries because I've been too lazy to put them in the right spot. But these are the Kyosho Speedhouse batteries. Maybe you can tell the guys about Speedhouse batteries.
Speedhouse batteries.
So there's mainly 2 or 3 types of batteries that most guys are running, right?
Yeah.
Explain it.
Mainly 2 or 3 types. Speedhouse is your kind of your general capacity, good power output. Depending on how you charge them and how you take care of them, you can charge them a little hot to get the least amount of resistance, or you can charge them normally at their 1C charge rating, which is 0.7 amps. You keep it at that, the life of the battery is going to last forever. The capacity is going to last you a very long time.
Give them a view of the Speedhouse. Not too close up there. It'll make, yeah, somewhere like that.
Speedhouse.
But anyway, it's Kyosho's factory brand.
They come in packs of 4.
I use those exclusively for like a year.
Me too.
And I've recently moved over to the PN
high power
HP 750. That's high power. 750. That's a 750 milliamp battery, I do believe, right? Yeah, of course it is.
750 ma.
750 mAh. This batteries, I have a couple of packs of these. I'm running 2 packs of these for most of it. I'll run that in practice once in a while on the Speed House. But for these, if I'm going to race or try to do a good practice hot lap or something, it's always these. And I feel like they work really well for about 10 to 15 laps.
Capacity is smaller.
They hit really hard at first, at least when I'm
Yes.
charging them well. And like you said, if you charge them about a 20% charge towards the end at a higher rate, you can get the batteries kind of warm. You slap them in, and the car kind of feels like it's on turbo all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But that doesn't last too long.
You probably get about 5 minutes. No, 3 minutes of great turbo, and then it starts flattening out to its nominal for the last 2 minutes of race. But these batteries are slightly lighter than the Speed Houses.
So that is a big thing. You want to have a lighter battery unless
you tuned your car to those.
Here's the thing. So, you can make it work with heavier batteries too. Sometimes we actually add weight to our cars to make them work better. Now, also something about battery positioning. There's a difference when it comes to a CHelios or a PN chassis. So the weight of your batteries is going to be higher in a CHelios chassis than this PN chassis. And I believe they came out with a new PN chassis, which I haven't really looked at yet. I don't know what the new version is.
The 3.0.
I think so. And I don't know where the...
But that's a LiPo chassis.
So that's a LiPo chassis. So that's going to be different anyway. So anyway, guys, if you have questions on these batteries, the CHelios ones are great. The the PN, I feel like they're quicker, but they definitely go out a little bit quicker.
PNs are benefit to this car.
Yes, that car is a mainly stock car. That is a box. That's what we call box stock.
Box stock.
Doesn't have a ton of power because it is box stock. We're very limited to what we can do to it. So you need every little bit you can get. And on a PN, you will get a little bit more punch out of that for at least a while. You don't want to go and do 10 or 20 laps right before your race, because then your race is going to be
going to suck.
So you go out there and like do 2 laps, hopefully get the tires hot and go right away.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Talk
and
about
taking off the weight on top.
Yes.
A little bit of weight on top.
Show where the weight is here compared. Well, just show where the weight is on this, and then also talk about what you do to a stock car, a box stock car, to stay in that class.
Box stock is only allowed your T-plate adjustment, which there's various different thicknesses, various different compounds, which will help your flex a little bit. Then you can change your tires. Compounds are very important. And after that, that's pretty much the only thing you're allowed to do. Everything else is a minor tweak, staying under the loopholes of these beautiful rules that we have. This is a box stock body. It has to stay solid all the way.
Excuse me, guys.
It has to stay solid all the way, just like a CHelios body.
Wait, hang on. You moved on to the other car yet, or no?
No, it's the same car.
Oh no, keep talking.
Yeah.
Give him a good detail.
Yeah, this is good details. Good details.
I'm gonna move off.
Body has to stay solid on top, just like any CHelios body. It has to look like the real car, or a real car. It can't be Lexan, can't be anything too crazy, as in weight being off. That is true box stock class.
When you said I say solid on top, that's as opposed
to let's say a Lexan body, or a car that has this removed and a Lexan window installed.
Yeah, and we'll go into the Lexan. We'll show you what a Lexan body is like here in a minute.
Yes.
So that's the and what if somebody was looking to get into Mini Z racing, and obviously I think they should start in the box stock class.
Yes.
What is it going to cost somebody?
Highly recommended.
For this car. Why don't you just point out the car and the cost on this car. To buy a brand new rear-wheel drive Mini Z, it's about $180, $185, $190, depending on the body style.
Exactly.
Every car is the same underneath the body. When you get
Yeah.
a Mini Z, you
All
don't get
chassis
that
are
body.
the same.
You get a body like this. This is a really nice Audi body. These things are badass.
Badass.
You can get this McLaren, which I really like that as well.
The P1.
There's some others that I don't see them right now. But you get bodies like this. You're allowed to change to this, which is a Yamarama.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good body. Drives easier.
It's a good body.
But
yes.
truthfully, to race, you get a car. You need a transponder. Tell them what you need. Tell them what the costs are. Tell them what they're in, all in, to have a full setup box stock car.
Full setup box stock car, you're looking at entry price $250, $260, depending on how cool you get it. You have to get tires. You have to get your suspension plate so you could kind of play around with the flex of the car. And you have to get a transponder so you can start seeing how fast you're going. You're not going to know how fast you're going unless you see it. You can see it.
You absolutely need the transponder.
Absolutely need.
So the transponder is about $28, $30, somewhere in that range.
$28, $30. Then your batteries. You need your batteries. At least 2 sets. That way you can have some charging. You can use some, and just balance them out like that. Those are about $11.99 for a pack of 4.
Depends on which batteries you get.
And depending on which pack of batteries.
The CHelios are about $11.99.
These are looking at almost $20, $17.
They're a little bit more money. For me, if you're just practicing, get the CHelios. You'll get more laps out of them at a higher speed.
More laps out of them, higher speed.
If you're trying to race, at least have 1 set, 2 sets just for racing. But most.
And as a beginner, you don't need to go too fast.
You probably don't need them for racing, actually.
Sometimes too fast will interrupt your smooth, and smooth is fast.
Yep. Slow it down and well, not so slow it down, but smooth it.
Let's talk about this guy.
So about 240 to 250, you are ready to race in the box stock class, which is the premier class, truthfully.
Yeah.
Premier as far as the most people in it.
Most people in it.
Now, if you want to move,
easiest to start.
Once you, let's say, not move up, you need to get your skills together.
Get your skills together. Kind of graduate into it.
And once you do that, wait, hang on. Let's stick with the brushed cars. This is the 98 millimeter touring car. And then...
Oh, yeah. We have more brushed cars.
Yes. This is the...
Le Mans.
All right, see you, Art. He's out. He's got to go watch the Laker game. I don't blame you.
All right.
So a Le Mans car, it would be about the same cost if you could buy them, but you pretty much have to build them these days.
Yeah, it's very hard to find a body nowadays, and it's very hard to get the car, period.
It's a pain in the ass. It really is.
Well, you can get the rear pod, and you'll turn your regular MR03 chassis into a extended LM chassis.
Yeah, so that's another fun car to drive. I like it because it handles a little less tippy. Its handling is slower, but it's because the wheelbase is slightly longer, it is slower, but I think it actually adds to the racing because the cars are so flat on the sides, especially this Toyota and the Mercedes Sauber that they have. They're so flat that when you bump against each other, you can often just keep on driving. It doesn't really cause a crash.
You're scooping everybody.
But you're scooping if you're racing against, to me, if you're racing against other, like, touring cars, you're scooping.
Yeah.
But if you're just bumping
you're not really scooping these guys.
Yeah, but the front end is low. So if you want to just roll in behind someone and...
Front end is slightly lower.
You flip them over, drive them through.
Motor is mounted lower and farther back. Rear wheelbase is wider.
Oh, Art, you're going to miss the Chrome Techno. That stinks. Maybe tune in tomorrow and check it out. All right, so we can go from the brushed cars to the main cars are the touring car, little guys. This is my brush car. This is a brushless. If you notice, he said earlier you have to have the solid top on this. This one doesn't. This has the modified Lexan top. It's cut out. I cut a bunch of weight out of it.
Lexan wheel.
Lex and Wing. If you were to look at my Instagram about 6 months ago, I actually have pictures of every step of this. So I know exactly how many grams I cut off and added back on. Even took pictures before and after with weight on the scale, before with paint on the scale. So that really made a difference. If I took that body and put it on this car, I would gain 2/10, I believe, almost immediately. But it would be cheating. It's not a fair class. Let's talk about this brushless car a little.
Brushless car in the stock class. Still using AAA batteries.
Project your voice, bud.
Mic's right here.
Yeah, project. Oh, be careful. It's going to brush up against other stuff. Yeah, put it here. We're just pointing straight up. We ain't going to brush up against stuff. No. It's up there by your beard. That's no good.
Here.
Yes, like that. There you go.
There we go.
This way. Push it out this way. This way. There you go.
All right, we're back.
All right, we're back, guys. Sorry about that.
In the stock class. So this one's open to modifying your suspension. Of course, your brushless motor, brushless controller. You can use any controller you want that has a Mini Z receiver and can transmit the Mini Z signal. You're looking at aluminum motor mounts, aluminum T-plate, screw points that are higher tension. You can add weight to the front with a carbon fiber mount that has an aluminum plate, which you can throw on 3 different size weights.
Which I actually have in there. I didn't always have that, but I got that recently, or fairly recently, in the last couple of months after talking to you, because I couldn't keep my damn thing planted down.
It helps. It helps.
All right, guys, gonna start peeling this bad boy.
And as you guys can see, chassis.
Go slow, because it takes time to focus. So that chassis is quite a bit lower.
Very lower.
So if we were running the lightweight batteries, well, if you run the heavyweight batteries, it'll be so planted you wouldn't even.
Planted.
And I only run the lightweight batteries in that, and it's still really planted because the batteries are. It's a different setup on the CHelios. You put 2 batteries here, 1, 2, and the second one's kind of up on top of the other one, so they're both on top. With the PN, you just put them side by side, 1, 2, and then 3, 4 right here. Here you do 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost like a little triangle or a pyramid.
All the weight is as low as possible.
So that car really feels more connected to the ground.
Oh, and the legs on top. It's got a little bit of flex.
Yeah, a little flexy, but it's definitely lighter. And it's where it totally counts. It's at the highest point of the car. So if we could get rid of some of that highest point of the car weight, that really makes a big difference. All right, guys, I'm going to peel this on the Techno.
Peel it.
Going to come out. Hopefully, we will have a decent looking car that the chrome doesn't flake off of.
That yeah, it looks nice.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna. This is so weird. It's like when you put your fingers on it, it goes through the other side and discolors it. Anyway, I'm gonna. No, it's weird. This chrome stuff is weird. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna start putting some stickers on there.
Interesting.
And no, maybe not 2 stickers. Maybe just throw it on the Techno. Go ahead and finish up any last little things that you have to do about that, and we'll move on from the Mini Zs and go on to your cars. So let's say if you were to build a brushless Mini Z, what are your options? How do you build it? Do you start with a ready to run and then you add in? And what's your cost? What kind of cost are you looking at?
Right before that, though, we still didn't get into the X-Speed motor.
Well, you know what? I've never had an X-Speed motor, so you talk about it.
The X-Speed motor is if I'd say you want a nice taste of brushless speed or a little bit faster. It is crazy fast. Brushless speed for a fraction of the cost.
It's probably about as fast as a brushless motor.
Yeah. Using CHelios parts, you can tune your car and get it into the stock class without shifting, getting the brushless board, and doing the complete conversion. But you are getting about 40% less performance versus something like this. But in case you just want to try it out for a fraction of the cost,
If you just want a fast car and don't have to rebuild the whole thing, just put the X-Speed in there, which I might do on one of my LM cars. I have 2 LMs, a brushless and a brushed. But for the hell of it, I might put an X-Speed in the brushed one and just make it fast. Just have fun with it.
Crazy fast. But going back to the question you asked, something like that would cost, the way you built it, about 300.
I went pretty inexpensive though. I went pretty cheap on this. I really did. There's not a whole lot in here.
The PN motor and the PN motor mount, it'll probably add another 50, 60 bucks.
Yeah, I wanted to do a budget build, but I'm still very happy with it. It's totally, I mean, it can get into the 6 seconds. So it may not be the fastest car, but it's not off by a whole hell of a lot. It's just a few tenths, maybe.
I saw it drive today. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and then consider I'm using the cheapest radio available, which is probably worth another tenth or two. Though I know that this can work because I mean, I can get in the sub 7 seconds with the car, with the cheapest radio. But it just makes it. It would probably make it a lot easier to have a little nicer equipment. I don't really use the. I have to adjust my driving style with these cars to not use brakes. I need to know when to let off and get on the throttle without brakes, because if I use brakes with that radio, the modulation is not good enough, and it
really stops.
Yeah, it stops it too much. So what I kind of do is I try to tune some
drag brake.
I tune some drag brake in, but I can no longer tune drag brake into this because one day a friend of mine, or is he not a friend, went to solder something for me, acting like he's a friend, and then he was deceived. I was deceived at the racetrack when he dropped some solder into the fucking connection, so he can no longer tune this car as well as I'd like to. I might be able to bypass that, but I'm not for sure. Anyway, thank you for listening to Mini Z's. Why don't you talk about the Mini Z race recap real quick?
Yes.
And then we're going to move on to your touring car show and tell. And then we'll do the touring car race recap.
This last Wednesday, it was one of the greatest races we've had in a long time. One, we haven't raced for a long time. Two, we saw many of our old friends show up that we haven't seen for a while, even when we were racing before. Like Jesus, Oliver, the family. And then we saw Dom come in. Had Daniel in racing, some of the new guys. It was a fantastic experience. Everybody had fun. And we'd like to thank everybody who really helped out. You know, Lewis was a really big part of it. He helped with the announcing, coordinating the races. Something that we're still working on, but we will get better.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like he said, to Lewis, to Gary. He's one of our very regular guys
Gary's
up there. Helps out everybody. Very much appreciated, Gary. And then again, like to Cody, Daniel, William, Dom, all them guys. Ollie and his family coming up there. Yes. Wish we'd have seen Kurt. Kurt was there.
Yeah,
I know Kurt wasn't there. He should have been.
Yeah, Kurt should have been there.
John Goodberger should have been there.
I thought he was.
No, he wasn't there. He was supposed to be there.
No, I thought he was supposed to.
No, he was supposed to be. He wanted to be there. Work took care of that.
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to. A little buffering issue here. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to move this.
Tar here Ariel says, "Hello, JB and friends. How are you tonight? I was here a few weeks ago. Do you remember me, mate?"
Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to make sure I can get a decent signal here.
Are you getting a decent signal?
Slowed down the signal. Ariels. Guys, if this signal drops out...
Do you remember Tar?
Yes, I do. Tar Heel Aerials. Yeah. No, thanks a lot. I remember for sure. Thank you for coming back. Hey, guys. It just showed me that the our signal is not that smooth. If it drops out, please come back to the channel. Go back to live stream. I have another one set up, a backup live stream, just in case. I'll restart it.
What's up, Reggie?
And hey, Reggie, good to come in. It does look like our signal got better again, so hopefully that's done. Yeah, Tar Heels, how are you doing, bud? Thank you for coming in. And Reggie, he was in the shop doing some Mini Z stuff today. I think we might see Reggie racing here in the next next couple race episodes or race sessions.
I have to get the dust off of his car. It hasn't been driven out in a while.
Well, I saw that also. It didn't look like they knew where his controller was. I was very concerned about that. I saw he was using a controller that said RC Street Shop Rental or something.
Oh no, his controller is there somewhere.
No, okay.
It's one of them. That's just the quickest one I got on hand.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, let us know if you guys got anything to say. Tar Heel, if you have anything to say. Reggie, if you got any questions, let us know. We were just about to get into, well, we were going to finish up the race report and then move on to the touring car race report.
Yes.
So, we raced Wednesday. We did box stock expert, and stock, which is a highly modified brushless class.
Brushless class.
Tar Heels fell asleep last week and missed your stream. Dude, I almost fell asleep and missed my stream, and I was here. Trust me. You're not the only one. Sometimes we just don't, you're not feeling it, and I don't blame you. Or you just need the rest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a good race. Did we have all three final? No, we didn't do brushless.
Yeah, we didn't do the brush. So it was getting late. We did the two box stock expert. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. That's why we got really late.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who
all
won.
Three, and then
I don't think I was in the A main of one of them. Which was I? A main? Oh, it was a box stock expert.
Yes.
I think I dropped out. I walked away after numerous crashes in the box stock class, and my car body kept popping off, and I was like, oh, the heck with this. I'm out of here. So that was it. But the box stock expert was a really fun race. I actually rewatched it today. Yeah. I think I was in the B. I showed up late, so I qualified into the B main and bumped up into the A main. Or maybe that was the other class. Anyway, it was close between Gary, Daniel, and I. I think each of us held the lead for at least two times in that race. I think Gary kind of jumped out to an early lead. Then Daniel took it quickly and held it for quite a while. I actually caught up while those two were messing with each other and took the lead. Daniel, I believe, took it back. Gary took it. Then Daniel was getting chased by Gary, and I was able to sneak up in third place and take advantage of a couple of mistakes. And I ended up taking the win. And that was a lot of fun. Congratulations to everybody in that race. Daniel drove extremely well. Gary always drives well. Gary probably should have been the winner of that race. But,
he got taken out a couple of times.
Sometimes as it gets lucky, I took the luck. I got taken out a couple times. But, on a race, in a 5-minute race in Mini Z's, when it's a 7-second lap, you can afford one or two takeouts and still come back because the other guys will get one or two.
Yeah.
You just can't afford 3 or 4. So I was able to win that. That was a lot of fun. A 5-minute race, I pulled off 35 laps in 5 minutes and 4 seconds with Daniel. A close second, I believe, on the same lap, and Gary, I believe, on the same lap. If not, maybe just 1 lap behind. It was awesome.
Dude, you guys were on it.
Yeah, that was a fun race. A lot of fun. Thanks for coming out, guys. I am looking forward to more Mini Z racing, and hope it continues to grow. Definitely hope it continues to grow.
We'll continue every 2 weeks.
So right now, we're going to be doing every 2 weeks?
Yes.
Sounds good.
So not next Wednesday, but the next Wednesday.
All right. Sounds good. Tar Heel says he's been fighting the crud. Bad sinus chest cold for 3 weeks. Dude, that's disappointing. Hey, is it because of allergies potentially? I used to live in the South, and I would get bad allergies around the springtime, which seemed like congestion or a head cold. And I don't know if that's maybe it or whatever it is, but hopefully it gets better soon for you.
Allergies suck.
Yeah, definitely. Especially considering I'm thinking about moving back to Florida, and that is like, you know, the worst place in the world for allergies because of all the swamps and stuff they have there.
Horrible.
All right. So, guys, if you're just joining us, I am JB. This is Chelios. I thank
Hello,
Chelios
guys.
for being back with us in the JBRC garage.
Yes, sir.
It's currently 9:19 and a temperature of 71 degrees here in Southern California. It was sunny today. It hopefully will be sunny tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great weekend planned. I'm going to get this Techno buggy ready for its little Tekinator conversion. We're going to go from my bright racing buggy to my chrome and black street version buggy.
Let's discuss a little bit on how a lot of these drivers have improved in such a short amount of time.
Let's do it. And Tar Heel says, yeah, he thinks it's mostly allergies. I'm not surprised, bud. I am not surprised because that's exactly how I used to have to deal with it. What we're going to do right now, he's going to talk about some improvements and some drivers while I switch this over to black version. I've got the Techno lightweight wing, got some black hoons, chrome and black body, which I will put some decals on, but probably not during this show. Just want to get this done for you guys.
This is a round body, I noticed.
This is a different body.
So square.
No, this is not. This probably Pro Line. I think this is one of the Pro Line bodies, and this is the actual Techno body. Yeah. Look at how much lighter one is than the other.
This is heavy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
This breaks really easy. This is why I'm doing this with chrome, guys. I'm trying to make chrome work for me, and if I make it as an on-road body first, it's going to be less wear and tear, and I'm going to give it a shot. So that's this idea.
All right.
So, yeah, talk about what you got to say here.
So, many new drivers come in during the last few months, and these guys have shown real dedication, real improvements. Like, we're talking second after second, you know, month after month of them driving. There's changes that they see on a day-to-day basis. You know, they drive, they get some help from most of our regulars that come by. JB, I help them, and we give them the tips that we learned from, you know, the many crashes we've had at the track,
the many mistakes and failures
we've made, the many burnt motors. And
yeah, but I've learned a lot from people. I didn't learn most of Mini Z's. The other RC stuff I did a lot on my own. Mini Z, I'm very lucky and thankful to say that we've had people like Gary and Lewis, amongst others, that have just been very helpful. But mainly those guys have really helped me learn a lot.
Chris and his drive craft as well.
Chris's drivesmanship or racecraft is amazing, and that's a big help too.
Man. The improvements you get, you know, there's a certain respect and courtesy you must have towards others, especially, you know, the more drivers you've got. If you're a new guy, okay, it's understandable. You're just trying to get around the track. But, you know, if you're being lapped and you have been lapped, you're not racing the guy anymore. So kind of, you know, let him through, let everybody through, let them do their thing, and just push on forward. Try to get as many laps. Qualifiers are for working together.
I'd have to say I agree. But one thing we got to remember, what makes it hard, Mini Z's are not the easiest car to control, as they're very small.
Yes.
We're on a track that's only so wide. And if more than one car is trying to go through a corner when there's only like one fast line, there's a good chance you're going to bump. So even respectful racing can be tough sometimes, especially when we're with newer people.
Accidents always
or someone that's not new, people like me that's old, but still, it's not easy. It's not easy to always do it correctly. You just got to try your best. And
try your best. That's all we could ask for.
Yeah.
In everything.
And Tar Heels is in North Carolina, where it's 12:19. Definitely appreciate you staying up late with us tonight. Wow. Hey, tomorrow's Saturday. Just sleep in. You just sleep in tomorrow. You don't have to worry about it.
So let's talk about which one of these drivers. Let's talk about we've got Daniel, Cody, William, Jesus, and Oliver. Some of our newest guys that have come in within the past few months, and they have come such a long way. And all it takes is to come in and drive. You drive, you drive, you drive. You learn the car. The next thing you know, you're just seeing lines that you didn't see before. You're anticipating turns in different ways that you didn't anticipate before. Well,
yeah, and we have guys that are coming in. They're coming in for several hours a day, several times a week, and that's what it takes if you want to get better quick. It's hard to get better slowly. Like, you can't waste 10 years to just slowly get better. You kind of got to dive into it so you can figure out quickly what works and what doesn't work. And I think that is just all track time. A lot of track time and some tweaking on the car. And not necessarily tweaking in a silly way, but listening to somebody that kind of knows.
Yes.
And getting some advice from them. We have a lot of people that are helpful.
Advice, being open-minded to a lot of things they say. Being stubborn doesn't help.
Yeah.
At all.
Hey guys, if you could give us a thumbs up, we would really appreciate it. We're out here in the garage, just loving talking RCs for you. And if you can give us a thumbs up, it would help to get shared out to other RC guys. But yeah, love to hear from your chats as well. For CHelios.
That's how you spell it, Mike.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man.
Let's say I'll say Cody is one of our newer guys, younger kid, and oh boy, what did he start with? A box stock. What was the body? Do you remember?
Box stock. Man.
Audi or Mercedes? Do you remember? I don't remember which one it was.
Remember.
Anyway,
He's had a few.
Yeah, it took a while.
Few.
He's gotten better. He's gotten a lot better though.
Very short time. His mom has been a very huge contributor to that.
Yeah, it's very sweet that his mom comes in. Some of our drivers are kind of young. In RC, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And he's lucky enough that he's got a really nice mother that supports him, comes in and hangs out. It's probably not her favorite thing to hang out in an RC shop, but she'll sit there for hours while her son's doing the driving. So it's good. Got a good support, and he's making the most of it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Along with Daniel.
So Daniel, another guy that's kind of new to it. I think if you guys aren't following him, it's Dan Fast RC, I think is what it's called. He has a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, he had a
Daniel. I don't think
day. He recorded the race.
Yeah, I don't think you're watching, Daniel, but if you are, let us know what is your RC channel. I know I follow it, and I'm pretty sure it's Dan Fast RC. He was there. He's only been coming in a matter of what, a couple months tops.
Yeah,
couple months, and he's pushing me for top. Whoever's got the fastest time,
he's already pushing,
at all time.
TQs.
At all times. So, TQs. I mean, that's a big step in a very short amount of time. Because, you know,
it's exciting.
When we see them start, they're not always too quick, and I don't worry about it. I don't make fun or laugh because I know once you start catching it, you're going to get it easy.
It's a clear difference to see those who try. Yeah. And those who kind of just want to have fun. I mean, you can have fun, yeah, but it's kind of fun to win, too.
At least be in the game.
Or be in there.
At least to be in the game, for sure.
It's good to see you, too.
So, who else have we got? Let's talk about somebody else out there.
Reggie.
Reggie? Reggie needs to practice.
Brandon checked in too.
Huh?
Yeah, Reggie, you need to practice. It's been a long time since
Reggie knows he needs to practice, though.
I mean, you can come on in on a Friday, every Friday. We'll get some couple laps.
Yeah. Did you say it was just Reggie there?
Yeah, I think. There's two. It says we got two. So what else were we talking about? Oh. Traction update.
So the track has been changing traction as the day's gone on, actually.
It was a warmer day today. Slightly warmer day than usual. Our usual temps in the store have been in the 62, 64 high range. By the end of the day, today we were sticking to the 64s. And it was pretty interesting. The grip was so changed. We had a bunch of people changing tires. A little bit, something a little bit more firm so you get some more push. But man, it was fun. JB's car looked particularly fast.
It was particularly fast for what it is. It's had its my brushed touring car and my brushless touring car. I was hitting new personal best with both of those earlier today. I did not even plan to go drive, but I had to get my tire repaired, so there it was.
So, question.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions on how to improve your racecraft? And what do you do to stay cool under pressure? That's a good question.
Do I have any questions? Or do I know how to do that? All right, I'll tell you what I can do. So Tar Heel asked, how long are the tracks we race on? Well, Tar Heel, I'll tell you what, bud. A fast lap is like 6.5 is the fastest lap, probably.
Yeah, in a mod car. Well, we're talking that car is doing like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Typical box stock lap is a fast box stock lap. In the setup we have now, you're looking at 7.5.
Yeah, 7 to 8. I mean, even 8 seconds is slow, but it's still, you get the gist of how fast.
Slow, yeah.
I mean, a 7 to 8 second lap is pretty average for, if you're not a good driver, it can take you 20 seconds to do it. It happens all the time. But when we're racing, we're in the 7 seconds usually. Mostly 7 seconds.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, check back on the channel. I'm going to edit some of those races and put out just a couple of races so you can see what the actual track layout we're racing on is.
Highlights.
Yeah, go on. Hit it. Highlights. What were you saying?
Oh, no, you were going to post highlights.
Oh, yeah. Post the highlights. Yeah. So it's not a very long track, but we do hope to have a longer track in the future. Again, these cars are literally, they're this big.
128 scale.
I'm not sure if Tar Heel was here when we were showing those small cars, but he might have been.
I think he was. Were you here when we were showing the cars?
Oh, he probably was. So how long have we been racing?
A year? No. 2 years now.
For Mini Z's,
2 years.
not too long. Couple years. I've been doing I used to race 10 scale buggies, short course trucks.
You got a lot of them.
4-wheel short course, 8 scale, 16 scale, little indoor shit way back then.
The 18.
So I've raced on and off for about 15 years or so, 20, maybe 18, but not a whole lot, not like tons. Well, there's other people that have stayed in it consistently. I would race for a year or two, and then I'm out for a couple years. Then I race for another year, and then I'm out for another year. So I never did that consistently.
Chris is one of those. Right?
Chris and some other guys we know have raced consistently.
For many, many.
And that really is impressive because you start picking up some sweet tricks of the trade at that point.
Oh, yes. Hell yes. So remaining cool under pressure, what do I do? You got to remember to breathe. There's times you get tense, especially in the 1/10 touring aspect of things. You start getting into the bigger scale, these guys are there's a lot more seriousness in both Mini Z, higher professional / more competitive side of things where everybody's really tricking their car out down to spec, keeping everything clean down to spec to make sure that every run is consistent as possible. And it's very different. Very different.
I would say when I'm racing, if I'm behind, and I'm often behind, then I have I don't get nervous at all. I can focus. I charge forward, and I usually drive pretty well. I can make smart decisions, get through traffic. When I start getting nervous is once I get the lead, and then if there's, say, 3 minutes left in the race, I'm like, oh, why isn't there 1 minute left in the race? Just like when I used to race dirt bikes.
Adrenaline rush.
As soon as you get in the lead, it's like, I just want this race to be over. If you're in second or third or fifth, the race can go on forever. You're like, let's go, I got this. But in your lead, you're like, oh shit, now they're going to come after me. Let's end this thing.
Yeah.
So For me, it's not hard to concentrate because I'm not in the lead that often. I don't get stressed that
You've
much.
had a lot of time in it too.
When I do get stressed is kind of like towards the end of the race. Let's say a couple days ago when I was racing and I was leading and there's about a minute left in the race. And then what I just try to do is take a deep breath and smile. I literally, on the driver's stand, I'll just go, and I'll say, I have a 2-second lead on this guy because Lewis, with his amazing race announcing, he says 2.4 second lead over second. And I knew that's exactly what I had. And I was like, that's a half a lap. And I said, I can do this. And I just smile and I think they have to chase me, and I smile and everything just calms down. And then I just drive the rest of the race.
Smile.
So that's what I try to do. Something like that. A smile or a exclamation or something like that. Just a breath, because if you're, you're tight like this, it don't work. So just smile and you get loose a little bit. That's what I force myself to do if I can think about that.
So he was not here during our mini Z stuff.
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
How do you know?
He said no.
Oh.
He says, how long does it take to get decent at it? And it all depends on each individual or just in general.
Yeah, I would say for someone to start racing, just at first, just drive on a track. Don't even concern yourself with racing because you're going to be intimidated by the lefts and the rights.
Practice.
You're just going to be driving, even if you can drive well in a parking lot, all of a sudden you're going to feel goofy because you're on a track that's got walls or pipes on the side. And all of a sudden the track seems way smaller. You're like, oh shit, this track is narrow. Mm-hmm. So do a couple practice days if possible. Just drive. Lots of laps. I don't even care if your car's not set up that well. Drive a shitty car as good as you possibly can on a track. Because if you have a great car, you're still going to drive like shit. So have a bad car and drive until you can drive that bad car as well as you can.
Then start tuning it.
And then start setting it up. It doesn't have to be a bad car. It should be a box stock setting or somewhere in the middle, a neutral setting.
They're surprisingly good. Surprisingly good.
And then once you start getting more laps in, it can come pretty quickly, especially if you have, if you can take help from somebody, if somebody's there to give you some advice, and if you're willing to listen to advice. I didn't listen to advice a whole lot. I always wanted more power when I was younger. I thought power, power, power. I can't get over this triple. I need more power. And truthfully, I figured out if I had a motor that was a lower KV, less power, but it was smoother and more torquey, there's less wheel spin, there's more acceleration, clear the triple. So it's about learning some tricks that seem counterproductive. You'd think you'd want the absolute fastest car that goes 70 miles an hour. No, you don't. If the straight stretch will only allow a 30-mile-an-hour straight stretch, you want your car to do about 30 miles an hour. You don't need to go much faster than whatever the longest straight stretch is.
Stay in the pocket.
So
you overcompensating for everything, then you're gonna miss everything.
Yeah. So, but I think the question was how quickly. Well, we've seen somebody like Daniel, who was he had experience, but he wasn't racing mini Zs, go from nothing till pretty damn good driver in about 2 months, probably, right? Daniel puts in several hours a day, several times a week. So he's putting in, a good 10 to 14 hours a week at least. All the driving. At least. He
comes in so many times.
Yes, you got to get the wheels spinning, but you got to get them moving, but not spinning. You got to get them to stick to the ground and drive you forward.
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to like this car. This car looks understated now that I put black along with the black strip here and this black as well. It is so much different. It's almost like you can't see it, but I'm sure in the sun, this is going to glisten. It's going to be so damn shiny. I'm really liking the way my Techno Street Rippers turned out. I'm going to go and shred this. These are brand new Hoons. Probably got about 1 minute of run time on them. I'm going to shred them to nothing this weekend. They'll be gone. That's going to be fun. I hardly ever drive this because our track here is not that smooth. So I'm driving my Truggy more often.
Yeah.
So I transfer this over to a street. I'll drive it on the in the big medical building parking lot over there and just rip around on it. That'll be fun. All right, guys. It's been a good show. Not sure how much longer we'll stick around. If you like what you see, please subscribe and share.
And like,
And we'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined in on the chat. Reggie, Tar Heel, Rick jumped in for a second just to say he couldn't be here. We had Art in here for quite a bit earlier. So very good, guys. Thanks a lot. The show has been working better. You see, I don't want to jinx us, but we haven't had an internet issue.
nope.
Prior to this, last 3 weeks, I've always had internet issues, but kind of figuring some stuff out. It does seem to be working.
Having a backup stream helps.
Yeah, no, but I've never actually had to use it.
Oh.
Now, Tar Heel asks, have I ever heard of NASCAR racing? No. What's NASCAR?
I don't know.
Dude, of course. Everybody's heard of NASCAR.
We're in the U.S.
He says, have you ever heard? He lives in NASCAR country. Dude, I know. I've lived in Florida. I've lived in Arkansas and around the South. It's a huge NASCAR country. You live in kind of the South or East also, Northeast a little bit, I guess you'd call that. But yeah, no, absolutely. I've been through, I've driven all up and down, all throughout that area. And obviously, yeah, I knew Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, Kyle Busch. Yeah, for sure. We have not NASCAR, it's the IndyCar, Long Beach Grand Prix, or the Long Beach IndyCar is happening this weekend in Long Beach, just about 9 miles that way. I haven't gone to it in a few years. They were back last year. I don't think they were back the prior 2 years due to, bullshit. But he's talked to people that have never heard of NASCAR.
That's surprising.
I don't know. They're probably people that don't heard of any kind of racing.
Yeah,
I would assume. Because if you know anything,
they probably don't know about cars then.
Because NASCAR, I think, is still more popular than Indy, at least in America. And now NASCAR is huge. Obviously, we have we had a track, which is Fontana, but I believe they just sold their big track over there. And I think it's going to be a smaller track, but that was a NASCAR track. But I'm not sure who owns the track now.
Droop.
What's that?
So much droop.
Oh, I got to set it up stiffer for this. Yeah. But they've got some droop screws here. I can deal with that.
That's so nice.
For on road, I can make this car quite a bit stiffer. This will be good.
Oh, man.
Do you remember? I remember the name Harry Gant. I'm not sure if I remember the Skull Bandit 33, but I believe it was a black car that had a little cartoon character of a bandit that had maybe was it a little bandit that looked like he had
33.
No, what is that? A scarf around his neck that was kind of flying in the breeze, maybe?
A bandana.
Yeah, maybe something like that. So he's talked to many people, never heard of NASCAR. Oh, no, I've heard plenty of NASCAR. Yeah, definitely.
That's crazy.
So we're probably going to be wrapping into it a little bit. What do you got going on for this? Do you have any racing going on this weekend?
It's racing going to be until the 16th.
So that's next week? And that's,
Yeah.
what is that? Is that going to be... Oh, you knew Harry. You know him. Oh, that's great. You go to church with him and he retired in 94. No, very cool. Anybody that was able to do something like race, to make a go at racing and actually make a living at racing, man, what an accomplishment. And what a great, I couldn't imagine. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be a professional motorcycle racer, specifically dirt bikes. I liked motocross and supercross. And it was not going to happen. I wasn't that good, and I didn't have any support from my family either to do it. And it's very expensive. Motor racing is extremely expensive. But I tried and did the best I could locally. But just to imagine being a man that could make money to do that. You don't get. I would drive those cars or those motorcycles for free, and to be a professional, to get paid to do that, to get flown to all these races, and
That's
to have a whole
awesome.
team working to make sure you have the best car possible.
Being paid to have fun.
That would be a dream to me. I mean, at that point, it's not fun as much because they're
work,
under
yeah.
a stressful situation.
You have to win.
But if you're doing at least up to your team's expectations, then it's you can celebrate. It's fun to celebrate that. But it is tough to race. It's very tough. He's 54 when he retired. Oh, that's a good age to retire.
54.
I don't think I'll be retiring at 54. But you know, I'm not
young at 50.
not a NASCAR racer as well. I'm looking forward to driving this tomorrow. I hope I get to drive it tomorrow. Maybe it'll be Sunday. I'm going to put some stickers on it. I think I will put maybe I'll not put any stickers on it.
It looks cool like that.
Just leave it lame-o like this. It doesn't look bad. I can't wait to see how it looks in the sun.
It'd be cool if everything else was black.
I know. Well, I can get new shock tops. Those will be all black because these are buffed out.
Spray paint this thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that much. But it looks good still. So he lives there in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I remember Charlotte. So I actually have cousins that live in North Carolina, but I can't remember where right now. I remember driving through Bristol, where the Bristol Speedway is or was. Says he didn't mean to. No, chat it up, dude. It's good to chat. Please. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's definitely cool stuff. Living in that area, it's a way of life, kind of like college football in that area as well. Is huge. So is NASCAR, but NASCAR is huge countrywide as well now. It used to be mostly in the south, in the east, mountainous regions out there, where I think the moonshiners were running from the law, and they needed souped up cars and sedans to outrun the law with their moonshine. And I think that's how NASCAR actually kind of started back in the day.
Oh, wow.
In Bristol, Tennessee, yeah. I remember driving so when I used to drive from where I had to go up to, I used to live in New Jersey as well. There's a main highway, maybe 81, I forget what it is. I would take it for miles and miles and miles through many states.
Loins.
And
what's up, Stanley?
Oh, Stanley knows. Stanley, what's the highway that runs through Bristol all the way up to New Jersey, or on the way from Bristol to New Jersey? Stanley's lived in New Jersey with me.
Oh, wow.
And he lived in the south, and he's a truck driver out there now. Oh, and we got Edsel in. Good to see you, Edsel. Guys, if you could, give us a thumbs up on that, make sure you're subscribed. We really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, Edsel.
Yeah,
wish you could have been here tonight. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a good show. North Wilkesboro is the moonshine capital. Yeah, I think that's what I had heard. That's funny. That is so dang funny. It is 81. Can you believe that? I actually remembered the name of the highway. I've done it a few times, dude. Trust me. It's been over probably 14, 15 years, so I was not sure. But I've traveled between the South and the New York area a bunch of times.
Right back.
All right. So, yeah, I kind of remembered some of those highways. Some of my favorite other places to go were, the Blue Ridge Parkway. I forget is that in... I don't think that's in Tennessee. I think that's more in West Virginia. Could it be West Virginia? Or maybe even Pennsylvania. Blue Ridge Parkway was beautiful. I've driven that many times when I was young. And then did it once. They have a faster route now, but I like to drive it anyway if I ever get out that way. But I haven't done that. What's that? Thanks. No problem.
I'm back.
So Edsel, yeah, been good if you'd been out there. So Edsel raced with us.
Yeah.
Oh, Edsel's in.
Edsel,
What do you think about the
yes.
Mini Z racing, dude? Do you think you're gonna be joining in with us, because that was pretty good? As soon as
Did
you
pretty
get
good
that,
for the first few times.
he was
Probably his
driving
third
fine.
time.
He drove better today,
Yeah.
in practice, and he just needs to get that Jamarama body.
He got
He'll
the bug.
feel more consistent with it. A little tiny tap on the rails not going to stick him in the wall.
Yep.
So that will definitely be helpful.
A lot.
I was hoping he'd be able to show up today, and we were going to build his Jamarama, but he had some stuff to do. So Atariel says he thinks it runs through several. It may very well. I remember it. If you ever seen old postcards from like the 80s with a station wagon, if you guys have seen Griswold's Vacation, when they drove from, what is it?
I don't think I saw that one.
Chevy Chase's the vacation movies where he drives from Chicago to California. He's driving an old station wagon, but I used to do road trips with my family when I was young through those old highways in old station wagons, and camped along the way in KOA campgrounds and stuff like that. Man, that was so much fun. That was a lot of fun. I lived in New Jersey, just outside of New York City, but my dad didn't really like the city. So we were always driving to upstate New York or down to Florida, where I was actually born in Florida, or, just anywhere in between, and even further. So that was cool.
Nice.
He meant to say hog the chat. I know what you meant, Tardeel. And you're not hogging the chat. Trust us. We would rather people chat it up. It makes it so much more fun.
The more chat, the better.
So this is one of my old techno bodies, just as sitting around as a beater. And yeah, it looks so different when we go from something bright to something so subdued. Even though it's bright, I still feel like it's subdued because of the black along the bottom.
Did we skip the After Dark?
No, we're about to move right into After Dark right now. So the show's been going a little bit later. We usually run After Dark from 9 to 10. We're going to go ahead and hit the After Dark right now.
Yeah, After Dark.
Thanks a lot for sticking around, guys. We do much appreciate it.
It didn't get much darker.
What's that? Oh, it will. No, it will. It hasn't yet. It just hasn't showed up yet, has it? Oh, that's as dark as it got?
It's because of those lights.
We're going more After Dark.
More After Dark, guys. Hold on a second.
This one should be out.
Let's see.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
All right. So Stanley says, good to see. Yeah,
Good to
definitely,
see you,
Stan. Good to see you. I wish you'd come visit again. And Tar Heels is about ready to turn in. His phone's about to die. Not to mention, it's like 1 o'clock over there.
Yeah.
Dude, thank
Thanks for
you.
sticking around.
He says, thanks for having me again and looking forward to next week. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Really,
Good night.
we do this show because we love talking RCs, but it's more fun to talk with you guys. So if anyone's out there just lurking and not chatting, chat it up. Chat. Just chat, dude. Don't ever feel like you're hogging it or anything. We love to hear from you, so thank you so much for tuning in. And I do plan to be back next Friday around the same time. Maybe David will be here. Not sure what's going on yet, but
We will see.
yeah, either way, we'll try. And thank you for coming out tonight, buddy. Really appreciate it. Stanley, what about you? Are you still got the ZX-10 Ninja? And I went and rode mine today. I don't ride much anymore, but I did go ride today, Stan. How about you? And what other bikes do you have? I think you only got that one bike right now.
That's a cool bike.
Stan has one. It's almost brand new. It's like a year or two old.
That's kind of the reason why I want to sell the scooter, too.
So you got an Indian and the ZX-10. You got to get rid of that ZX-10 and just keep the Indian, truthfully. You know what I mean. I like the ZX10, but it's about as...
2022.
Yeah, that ZX10's about as... I don't know. I mean, get a 200-mile-an-hour car and drive it in a freaking 50 by 50-foot parking lot all day. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Indian is great. They're both great bikes. I love the Ninja. I just love sport bikes, but again, they're really, really... Stanley's perfect size for a sport bike. He's not a very big fella. Stanley's a little bit shorter, stocky. He's strong, but he's not big like you and I. So he doesn't probably He's more like an actual racer size that would be on
I would
those
need
bikes.
a bigger bike.
And I feel pretty cramped in on mine. Mine's a little bit older, so it's even slightly bigger than Stan's. But they're badass. I mean, they're truthfully works of art when you consider for what I paid for a bike that'll go almost 200 miles an hour. I mean, to get a car that'll accelerate that fast, there's only like a couple cars in the world.
Strapped into motor with wheels.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like we're starting to lose data. Hopefully it doesn't stream out. But if it does, it's been a good time.
Good evening.
Moving over here, guys.
I'll turn more.
Hopefully you can hear me.
You still having issues?
I don't know.
Looks good here.
No, it shows back as excellent connection.
Yeah.
Kawasaki, something else, man. Love it.
We got 10 peeps.
Yeah.
Welcome 10 guys.
Hey guys, thanks for showing
10
up.
peeps.
Let us know if you want to chat about some RC stuff. We got my Techno Buggy here. Got CHelios in the house. We've been talking Mini Z racing. Been talking
racing.
touring. We never got to touring car.
We went for a while.
We never really finished up. I had some questions I wanted to ask you about touring car. So Stanley, you said see you next time. Are you out right now, bud? If so, tune in next week if you can. Let's hit the touring car questions I had for you, and then we'll call it a night. What do you say?
Yeah, let's see what's up with the touring car.
All right, guys. So we've been going for a little while so far. We've hit a lot of stuff this evening. It's
They were
been a
asking
good show.
about the body last time.
Yeah, so the last time you brought this car in, you did not have a body on it, so it kind of looked crummy. Now that we have a body, we can see what it looks like, and it looks like a touring car with a light body, a lightweight body on it to me. Looks, oh my God, I almost broke it just by flipping it. Yeah, that's light. I thought this thing was light. No, that's light.
And this is one of, I think it's
You know
one
what
of
a
the lighter
butterfly
ones
feels
released.
like? It feels like a
is a
butterfly wing.
I can let it go and it'll probably, oh wow.
Oh, wow. It just folds in half. Wow.
So that's light.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, if you
fast.
could, please give us a like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. We're here talking all kinds of RCs. Here is a decent Techno Buggy. I got some cheap shit on the shelf behind me. I got Amazon stuff over there. It's not mine, it's my buddy's. And here we got an ARC A10, one of the nicest touring cars that you will find on the market. This is a 10th scale mid-mounted motor, four-wheel drive, belt drive. And why don't you talk a little bit about the car, and then I want to ask you about your race.
This car has been a very interesting experience, man. There's so much levels of tweaking to this. You're adding shims, you're adjusting turnbuckles up and down. You're adjusting the droop, the sway bar settings. The movement between the flex and the screws in the center. Moving screws from here to there to get more flex. Let's say you want some more rear action, you're going to put a screw in a certain location. You want more front action, screw in a certain location. The car is so adjustable. And that brings it to me getting a bigger understanding into what real, more competitive racing is. Compared to a Mini Z, it's a whole nother experience.
Oh,
A lot faster.
Brandon asked if there was a reason you chose yellow. I assume you're talking about the yellow body?
Yes. I chose yellow. Well, one, Ryan painted that one.
Somebody else painted it, so he chose it
Ryan
for him.
painted, and it's pretty cool. It's a pearl yellow.
Pearl
I can
yellow.
see it.
I love it.
I can see it.
Brandon, I personally usually choose everything I've got recently is yellow, because it's easy to see, and I'm big time on pearl yellows, chrome yellows, even man. There's a couple of different colors that are similar to that. I choose that yellow, white, and blue because the blue contrasts with the yellow a lot, and so does the pearl white. So I like to use that just for visually. I can see well. I'm colorblind for red and green. I can still see them colors, but the shades are iffy. So when I see yellow and blue, white, I know exactly what my car is and which way it's facing.
Yeah, that's also a good reason for it to be yellow. This is a cool design with the front spool, lock spool, so no differential in the front. Rear diff, gear diff.
So gear diff in the rear.
Gear diff in the rear.
Lock spool in the front because it pulls really hard through the corners, I assume.
Active rear toe.
Active rear toe.
Active rear toe.
Okay. So what does that mean exactly?
So the front, you know how you can control your toe in and toe out, right?
Yes.
The rear, instead of being just a set toe, you get full adjustment.
So when you say active rear toe, does it change? Does the toe change during travel, or does it stay the same during travel? Or do you know about that?
Ideally, I'm still learning that part of the car.
Okay. No, that's okay. It's just
learning that part of the car.
I'm learning too. Just a question. We'll know it next week.
We will know it next week. Yes. I did do a few minor changes since the last time I raced. First time I raced was pretty. It was kind of horrible. Had remote issues. Pretty much got my butt kicked in many different ways. But then it was a very good learning experience. Got to see what the atmosphere is like, what everybody is like around, and everybody's cool peeps, very friendly. Second time, a lot more interesting. I was a little more mentally prepared for the action. Kind of knew what I was getting into. Except it was a 17.5 class, so I wasn't racing novice anymore. Won the novice race. Did not win the 17.5 race. At all. These drivers are insanely fast. Like they kept the pace that I just, had to move over for, be courteous. But I did learn a lot. The friends and the family that was around, the local competitors around there, a lot of Chris's close friends that used to race with him for many, many years just would come by and give suggestions. Real cool peeps. Pay attention to those guys that have been driving for a while. You're going to gain a lot of experience.
So, hey, I got a few questions to talk about with the racing. First, before we do, I kind of doubt that Gary's tuning in. But if he is, Gary, if you notice, I'm not wearing the exact same shirt that I've worn at every other show. We had a viewer chime in that I wear the same thing, and he wears the same thing over and over. And I said, we do, because we're men.
That was the plan.
We just want to get shit done. We're not concerned with, dressing up every time. We're concerned with bringing the most up-to-date and cool RC shit to the people.
Exactly.
And if that means black shirt and jeans every day, then it is. But today, different shirt, and I actually was wearing my leather jacket. Mm-hmm. To match my buddy CHelios' leather jacket.
Got my leather jacket.
Plus, I was on the ZX10 today, so boom, there you go. I went to go get some
cool
stuff on the ZX10 earlier. So with this touring car, so what? Tell me, like, in your first two races, what would you say not your status, but how do you feel? Like, where were you in the first race? Mm-hmm. What class did you race? This was only 2 weeks ago, and it was your first time driving the car, right?
First time driving the car.
You can't really practice in a parking lot with this car. It doesn't make sense. You have to be on the racing surface to actually get any use out of it. So you go, and I know what happened. You had problems with your receiver.
Problems with the receiver. Probably came defective in factory. Gave me a whole 15 feet of range.
So for people that don't know, first time you go to a track on road racing, you're probably going to get a qualifying. No, you're going to get a practice.
2 hours of initial practice.
Initial open practice.
Oh, just open.
And then qualifying run, and then probably another qualifying run.
And then little practices in between.
In between. Yeah. There'll be practice. So how did your practice go? First practice ever.
Practice remote failed. I thought it was the car. I thought it was the battery, something like that. So I didn't get mad. I got through the straight.
So you made not even a lap. Your car is done. You pull it off.
So by the 2 hours of initial practice before the racing started, I didn't get anything done because I was trying to figure out the receiver.
Horrible.
Then
No
for the
practice.
first qualifier, same.
You know what?
thing.
Should have had Brandon Strickland there. He could have figured it out for you.
No, at the end we realized it's just the receiver. It was just the receiver.
What else
It's
did you
horrible.
think it was?
It's horrible.
That's horrible. Anyway.
Problem is, I tried my best because that's all I had.
Yes, I know.
After that second qualifier, it was terrible too. So I basically got to drive it at the main, the novice main, using Chris's controller. Thank you.
Okay. So you raced B novice main event. No practice. You never got one full lap of practice.
Nope.
How'd the race go?
I won that race.
That's good.
But I mean, I want to say it was they were okay.
It was less than stellar competition, maybe. You might have been a little overmatched.
They did get me. Like they did get me for a while though. I mean, for the age difference,
Yeah.
let's just say they kicked my ass.
Yeah.
Compared to my driving was kind of very.
So what would you say your biggest takeaway from the first race? What did you have to do better?
Biggest takeaway. One, get a good controller. Something good. Two, kind of get some practice with the feel and the response of a good controller, and then the feel and the response of the car. So that day was pretty much just I got the atmosphere check.
Mm-hmm. You felt out what it was like to be at a track practice / race day, club race day, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Day two.
How, when you showed up to your second day, the second week, about 2 weeks later, it looks like we might be having some buffering issues. Sorry, guys. Hope it acts up. Your second race, did you show up? Do you feel like you were more prepared mentally?
Yes.
Or was the car better, or both better prepared? Or
so
you knew what to expect at least.
Exactly.
You were going to the same place. You know at least where to park, where the pit setup is. You know what's going on. So you have some experience.
Yes.
Tell us what it's like the second time.
Second time, I was very confident that I was going to actually be able to drive. One, the remote, high quality KO Propel remote, works phenomenally. So I knew I was going to be able to really see what the car was about instead of figuring out the nitpicks of the stuff that I should have handled beforehand. Number two, I was humbled.
Okay.
I was very humbled by the amount of the experience knowledge that these guys had. There was more people in the second club race that I went to.
Oh, there's more. Well, the first
There was
week
a
you
lot
went
more
was
people.
rainy, right? It was
It was
raining, so
raining,
it
so
probably
it was a
kept
lot
some
less
people
people.
away.
That too, the driving experience from being raining and actually having pretty decent grip was insane. Insane.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Speed. So much speed.
I saw videos of the first one, not the second, but the first one I was like, the track's wet, dude. How are you even you can't really lay into it. You can't just get on hard with it being because you might be going across a dry section, then you go across a damp section. And the track is constantly changing then.
So yeah, second time I was a little more prepared.
So you were more mentally prepared. Your car was changed. You changed the setup. No, you had a better radio.
I had a better radio, so I had to test out the setup that I had. So during that time, I adjusted. I was took out some droop after some practice. I was messing around with saucing tires. May have sauced a little bit too much, so my tires got fucking hot, real hot.
Can I see this? How many tires is this? This is not your first set of tires still, is it?
No.
How many tires have you been through?
So I had the initial set, which is a 36 Shore. Used that. They're still good. But I just wanted to see what a 34 Shore would be in the wet.
So the 34 is a grippier than the 36?
Softer compound, grippier.
All right.
So that worked out pretty interesting in the wet environment, but it got really hot and
because of its softness.
Exactly. It got really hot this last Sunday, so I was losing traction, kind of whipping around in places that I didn't want to
So
whip
you're using
around.
the 34 this Sunday in the dry.
In the dry.
Maybe you should add the
Then
36.
I switched to a brand new pack of 36s.
Okay.
For the main.
Never tested them in a qualifying. You just switched in the main.
I just put them. No.
Dude, that's ballsy. Sometimes you want to run with what you know, unless it's way out of whack.
And that may have been a mistake because one, the tires are breaking in.
And you may just have sauced too much.
Or I may have just.
We got somebody, Chris Verano's on. It says may have soft too much. He probably would know, as
he was there.
You know, he was there, and he's got the experience to know.
I did sauce too much. You know, you're only supposed to sauce 10 minutes prior to the race. I was saucing, leaving him there in the sauce.
Oh, just saucing them, putting them in the sun, trying to get them as hot as. Man, I'm gonna melt these fuckers right off the rim.
2 hours.
Gonna be so soft.
Fucking 2 hours of sauce.
Oh my gosh, that's great. That is awesome.
So don't do that. Okay, don't do that at all.
I know what the feeling though. I used to sauce, and maybe Chris remembers this. I used to race a long time ago when I was basically a kid in New Jersey, and I think we used on indoor carpet, really short carpet. We were running these on-road cars, and they were like a hard rubber tire, and we were using butane. We actually had butane, lighter butane fuel. We'd pour it out and sauce it, and it would just kind of corrode the freaking tires, but it would make them a little stickier. But God, those things, that stunk so bad. But always more was better. Just like when you're rebuilding a car. More better. More sauce is better too, I guess.
Does not respond well to doing one thing too much.
Okay, so
it wants to be evenly treated throughout the entire car.
That would make sense because if you overdo any one aspect, it's going to overpower or over rotate or over whatever it is, because this car really is it's a complete unit of a race machine. The tires need to work in conjunction with the suspension, which needs to work with a hopefully well-tuned motor and not a ESC that's been jacked with, and you want your settings to be somewhere near correct.
To be good, damn it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, you know, you got a chance to run some different tires. Now look, you've learned something. You've only been out 2 times. You've ran 2 different tire compounds. One time too much sauce, and you had a day that was damp.
Very lucky to have some veterans there too.
Yeah, but imagine with these veterans, they've been doing this for 5, 10, or 20, or 30 years. Imagine all the shit they've seen. Imagine having 10 or 20, 30 years of experience of driving, you know, to pull from. It makes it easier. It's got to make it easier. Yeah. It really does.
At least to understand the whole concept of everything.
This car seems a little bit, you know what? Remember one time I thought your car was too stiff because the battery was in it? No, I thought the battery was too tight. The battery hold down.
I loosened everything up.
And I was like, loosen it up, because I feel like your battery was a huge block that was one hard part of it. But I think it's even looser now.
So moving some screws, cutting the top plate. You know, they sell a split plate.
But they do sell a split plate for this?
Yes. But they're...
ARC makes it?
Yes. Problem is they are out of stock, and whenever they're in stock,
well make your own split plate.
Well, there you
That's
go.
What you did.
That's what I did.
That's beautiful. I love that idea.
Just take your time, cut everything nicely, consider the car,
Dude,
and then
primo, man. Looks great. That is great.
So, what I learned from saucing too much, tires will get gummy quick, and you will slide out.
Gummy and slide out.
Gummy slide.
Because
you want sticky, not gummy.
Is gummy more tires like tearing off or something?
Greasy type.
Greasy type?
Greasy
okay.
Type. So they'll overheat, and then it's just not good.
Okay. Cool. Very cool.
So a few adjustments.
Yeah, what do we prep with your setup?
Cutting the top plate, I moved a few screws on the bottom, then took off shims from the bottom of the A-arms.
Okay, taking off shims from the bottom of the
Taking
A
off
arms.
shims,
Where
so
was this?
lowering center of gravity.
So you're bringing the
right
these
here.
A arms actually down lower.
Yeah.
So the shim's right underneath
Right
here. So you
underneath
brought
here.
the. So you're trying to lower your center of gravity, front and rear, or
front
just
and rear.
okay?
Then let's see, gotta recalibrate everything again. Make sure all the caster and everything is in the right spots.
Do you do that or have someone do it?
I do that.
Oh. I just ask.
I figured out a setup.
I
just figured out how to use a setup station after a few failed attempts.
Oh boy, I'd probably try to do it, and then I'd ask someone to double check my work, at least at first.
Yes, that's what I do.
So those prep setup changes, do you think that it might have improved from the first to second race?
I hope. Well, I did them after this race. So from what I learned this race,
okay,
are the adjustments.
So when you go in next time,
when I go in next time, it's going to be a whole different story.
All right,
dude, the throttle. Oh man, I was driving it it felt like I wanted to drive it like a mini Z. Chris was telling me you're driving like a mini Z. Everybody was telling me I was driving like a mini Z. And you just can't full throttle everything.
Oh, you have to be so much smoother on the throttle.
You have to be so much smoother on the throttle.
More power and limited amount of traction still, somewhat.
I think there was a moment where I burned out at least half the straightaway.
Oh, wow.
Wow. It was either that and the fact that my power wasn't that good. So I was hitting the fucking throttle, burning out, and then when I would finally get power, it would be too damn late. You
still didn't have a whole lot of power at the end. Well, Chris says that the best advice is to listen to people. I would absolutely have to agree with it. I didn't, like I said earlier, I always thought more power, and I never did well until I started learning to tune my cars to make them more drivable for me. And people always told me that. So listen to people that help.
Listen to people.
Also, don't listen to some people.
Don't listen to all people. Listen to the people.
Well, I can tell you,
some
trust, people just talk. Yeah. Also, a lot of people that don't know anything talk the most. And when I hear it a lot, and I just ignore, you smile or whatever. But there's obviously people that have experience doing it, and for the most part, a lot of these people do not mind helping. No, but what they don't want to do is really help, and then you don't listen to them, and then you ask for advice later, and they're like, "Why should I bother? I tried to help you before.
Try to help you so you wouldn't need this, but now you need."
So yeah, yeah. And this hobby is expensive, and it's hard to learn everything. You can't learn it all by yourself. So listen to people. It would make life so much easier.
It's an alien object to me still.
What driving? Obviously, didn't drive much in the first race. You got no practice, no qualies. You got to race. Second one, you got practice. You got qualies.
Got qualies.
How did you feel? Did you feel better, or did you feel, because you moved up in class, did you feel outmatched and stressed because even in qualifiers you could tell, were other people just faster than you, or how?
Very fast. They were a lot faster than me. They kept the pace that I couldn't keep, mainly because I was kind of still
You're feeling out your car.
Still feeling it out.
You're only basically on your first run.
So, like I said before, it was a humbling experience. You know, I kind of felt like I was up here from driving mini Zs, and then you drive, the fast guy,
and you're like,
then I really drive and say, all right,
dude, it's the same.
Got a lot to learn. A lot to learn.
I was talking with the guy who did dirt bike racing. So when you race dirt bikes, a lot of people will start as a kid. And if you're going to make it to a pro at 18 or whatever, 16, you'll often be 5 years old. And if you're a 5-year-old hotshot dirt bike racer, you're the king of all the 5-year-olds. And then when you turn 6 or 7 and you got to jump up on the next big bike, you're humbled. You're like, oh shit, these guys are fast.
Yeah.
And then give you a year or two and you're at the top of the 6 to 8 bracket.
Yep.
And then you got to go up to the next class and you're humbled for about 6 weeks or a year or whatever it takes. Every time as you progress, there's very often, it's a punch in the face. You can start kicking ass on whatever track or whatever class you're at, but you try to move up to something else and you're like, oh, these guys know a lot more than I don't even realize what I didn't know.
Exactly.
So I was talking to somebody that used to race dirt bikes again the other day about that. It's like, you could be at the top of your game even as a professional. If you're in the 250 class pro, making $500,000 and you win a championship, but then you go to the 450 everyone in the 450 has won 250 championships.
Hmm.
So all of a sudden, it's not like you're the top dog of 250s. You just joined a bigger class where they are all champions and they're all racing these more powerful motorcycles for
Yeah.
at least the last year, and you're just jumping onto it. So it can be racing and going up through the ranks is a tough one.
It was intimidating. I did have the shakes for a while.
Oh man, the shakes is great.
It's
Sitting there,
like,
you get your
stop.
I love. That's when I smile. Smile. Maybe I like to have like one earbud in, so I can hear some music, and I'll try to listen to music and smile to the lyrics or laugh to some lyrics, and then I can forget about the track and just drive, or forget about whatever stress it is.
It was funny.
So you probably improved, but you had so much more stiffer competition.
Yes.
That you did not feel like you won the last race without doing one friggin' lap of practice.
Yeah. So
now you did 50 freaking laps of practice, 30 laps of qualifying. How many was it? Qualifying.
I didn't do too much laps of practice. I was kind of just. I felt like. One, I did a kind of the first mistake I did was not drive the car enough. I would drive it a little bit, think that I would need to change something because it wouldn't respond the way I was thinking it was supposed to respond.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all down to, I didn't drive the car enough. I was still getting used to everything. Drove it for like 10 minutes, kind of pulled it off, like, okay, there's something wrong. I got to change something. But it really wasn't that.
It was really, you probably didn't even, you may not have had the tires up to temperature, or you may have had too much dual rate, or you may not understood the throttle, or maybe your timing was too boosted on your motor or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you really got to put in laps and laps and laps, I think. I have always been a big proponent of just riding motorcycles or drive your car.
Mm-hmm.
Drive.
Drive.
If you got time to get on the track, drive. Like, I know you do have to tune it, but you've barely got any laps, so get on the track and drive. And I think that's what you're saying.
I feel like this next one, though, it's going to be the good one. I'm just going to try to get straight on the track, drive the crap out of the car, then make a change.
Awesome. Well, I hope it keeps going well.
I'm excited. It's something that's a lot deeper and more of a broad spectrum than I thought.
Yeah.
It got down to one guy was mentioning that if your pinion is in the wrong spot, like slightly in, now let's say you look at it right now, it's got like about a millimeter off of the chassis.
Okay.
If it's not a certain distance away from the chassis, when it's flexing, you'll be scraping it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, wow.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I could see that. Clearance is, and also everything on these cars, it's minimal. There's not a lot of slop. Like, this is an off-road buggy, and even when it's brand new, there's still some slop in an off-road buggy.
Yeah.
This feels a lot tighter than this did. But I mean, it's the nature of the beast. Everything's going to be more precise on this.
Everything matters so much. I feel like the car even gets pissed off if it's around a table that's not nice and clean.
When you said your next race is the 18th?
16th? The 16th. They race every first and third Sundays.
Okay. So I heard that I might be getting my Formula One Tamiya car coming in.
Hey, that class is very, very cool.
I didn't get this. I'm very jealous because I look at it. I wish it was mine. I'd love to have this. I just didn't. The timing wasn't right to do it. It's a significant investment, and I was afraid I would not go out and actually use it like I should. It would be just something else that I'd buy and it would sit. But I'm jealous. But if this Formula One car comes in, perhaps I'll build that one. I can do it a bit less expensive than this, certainly, and at least get me out there and having fun. And I'll be there to see this first class, or first person anyway.
First person.
And so maybe it'll get me more involved in on-road. But I always have been a huge Formula One fan. To me, part of the Formula One thing is just like the look of the Formula One car, and it would be fun to drive. I feel more fun where this would be more intense, because this is, I feel like, a better race platform. This is a more it's kind of like a real race car versus what I feel like those Formula One cars will be.
I mean,
though mine's a Tamiya. I think the Schumachers are better, though. I think the one I'm looking at is a Tamiya, but I don't think there is. Well, I know they're not anywhere near as good as these cars are. They're much lower height tech.
I think
Yeah,
From what I've
they're
seen.
like a couple $100s compared to a couple $1,000. They're the ones
the Shoemaker, those have the carbon chassis.
yeah, and those are pretty nice. But what I'm looking, I don't think mine is going to be that nice. But I can maybe still get out there and drive.
Touring truck.
Nah, let's see.
No, Euro truck.
The
That
Euro
truck is nice.
trucks. Anything to me is always cool.
They were freaking having the major battles. The battles those trucks had were pretty incredible.
Well, guys, we are inching up at 10:30. The show actually went a bit longer than I thought we were going to do. Not sure if anyone's still out there. If you are, say hi. If you have any questions, please chat them up. We'd love to hear from you. We've just been talking with CHelios about his 10 scale on-road
touring car. I was going to go 21.5.
You were going to go 21.5. You went 17.5. If you'd went 21.5, it might have been easier weekend.
Been a little easier.
17.5 was probably a bit faster. Was there a 21.5 class?
Sportsman.
How did Ryan race in that?
Ryan was in Sportsman.
How did Ryan do? Tell us about Ryan's racing this week.
Ryan did pretty well.
Did you get to watch him?
Ryan did pretty well. His car was very, very good.
Cool. So he has basically, well, your same car, the ARC A10, but it's 21. ESC similar?
25. ESC has the just stock version.
Okay, which is basically a good 21.5 one. Yeah. You could just throw a 21.5 in this and be ready to race too.
That's what I was going to do.
Why don't you race two classes? Could you switch them out that quick, or is it too much trouble?
The motor that I had, it's missing the side of the mount for weight reduction. So this one has the full around screw holes for the mount. That one's missing the screw hole that I need for the length of the wire. It sucks. So I guess I'm gonna go just rock with the punches.
Jeez, who's shorting these wires?
I did. You don't have to be super, super tight.
No, it looks pretty good. I can tell if someone's shorting them. It's great. I never even paid attention to it, but you did.
Chris did the soldering. It's pretty.
All right, cool.
But man, 10:30.
Yeah, guys. Well,
thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we're gonna start wrapping it up. I'll keep the stream rolling, but we're pretty much gonna wrap it up now. If you guys have anything to say, please chat in, and I will answer the chats. If you could like and subscribe, we do greatly appreciate it. We just do this to have fun, do some RC chatting. We're probably about 10 or 12 episodes in. I had a ton of internet issues at first, but I haven't had them in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's been
now I'm looking forward to starting a second season coming up shortly with a new design. I'm going to get a new computer, some new cameras, and actually hopefully have topics that'll go either scroll across the bottom or scroll across the top of the screen. So we actually, you guys follow along better. We can also put statistics, money, what costs, part numbers, stuff like that up there. So I do hope to do better in the future, but it's going to be a process. This is just for fun. We're not making money at it. This is just something we do out of the garage just for the hell of it, because we like hanging out. If you guys were local, you could hang out in the garage with us too. We just BS and talk RCs.
Yeah.
But thanks so much for tuning in. To everyone that joined the chat. Chris, thank you so much. Stanley, thank you. Brandon, thank you. Tar Heels Aerials, thank you. Edsel, thank you. And Edsel, let's get you in maybe next week. We'll get your Mini Z put together and get you a good running Mini Z out on the track, because you do have some potential. We just need to get that Mini Z up to stuff.
Yes. Thank you, Reggie, too.
We had Reggie and we had Art in. And if I'm forgetting anybody, I apologize.
You said Brandon Art?
No, I did say Brandon. Yeah. And Brandon, dude, he is the nicest guy. I swear to God. One of the nicest guys. Well informed with RCs. He's not an RC snob by any means. He just loves it all. He's a cool dude. We used to go and hang out. We've been to Supercross together. We've been to, we've went down to the beach, done bike rides together, done RCing together. Just, he's a cool dude just to hang with. I hardly ever get to see him.
Oh,
I'd like to see him much more, but I see him once in a while. If you ever
thanks.
looking for a place to come hang out and, maybe work, I think they're hiring. You know what you're talking about, bud. You're a good guy. So
They're hiring.
anytime you guys want to talk or chat, find me at the Instagram, JBRC Garage. I am JB. It's my garage, and it's got some RC shit in it.
Yep.
It's my buddy Chelios. And what's your Instagram, Chelios? It's hard to say. It's Chelios with a
Hard
bunch
to
of
say.
numbers.
Let's see what it is. CHelios _2395.
There was 2,395 other Chelioses before him. Can you believe that? Oh my gosh.
Yes, there was.
All right, guys. So there's a couple things we didn't get to tonight. I'm still going to get to this damn slipper rebuild.
Corey found this. Hey.
Who's that?
Corey. He comes with his 2 kids.
Corey?
Corey.
I don't know who
Corey?
we're talking about.
Glasses guy.
He drives
Oh.
Mini Z's?
Yeah. Oh, but I don't think you're ever here when he's here.
I'm hardly in the shop, so
he
I don't
shows up
know.
Saturdays.
Hey, Corey. I can't see who you are. I wish I could see the picture on there. Thank you for joining, man. I'm glad you were in. Hopefully you were in earlier and you didn't just show up, but I'm sure if I saw you, I'd recognize you. You say you think you know who Corey is?
I know who Corey is.
Oh, he knows.
He comes in every Saturday.
Every Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm never there
Well, we've been coming
Saturdays.
for a while. Come by a Saturday, you might see him.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for joining in, Corey. Yeah, this is awesome. So he's going to be there tomorrow, he said. Very cool. I won't...
Nice.
Yeah, Saturday's a tough day for me. I have something to do in about 7 hours.
Oh, man.
So I'll be up early in the morning, kicking
pretty
ass all
early.
day. But yeah, hopefully I will. If I haven't met you already, hopefully I will meet you. He wasn't at the race then on Wednesday, the Mini Z race. All right,
Can you make it?
let him know about the Mini Z race. Maybe if
We
you
can
can
make
make
it. We're
it sometime,
racing
that'd be great.
On every other Wednesday. So not this next Wednesday. We're going to be racing next Wednesday. So
Yeah.
starting at 6, if everything goes well and coordinated, we'll be doing some legit stuff. And it'll be fun
And
for the whole family.
guys like Corey, Brandon, you guys living locally. Stanley, you don't. You live across the world. But if you wanted to, if you guys want to show up, be on the show. We've had Edsel on the show. We have Kevin. We have Pirate Mike on the show.
Yeah.
We come in. We do projects. If you guys want to come in and do your own RC projects, we can do them right here on the show. If you want to set up the crawler course, we have a mini crawler course for the 18th and 24th scale.
Yeah.
And I even have a Mini Z track. It is the small Mini Z track, but we got the little RCP Mini Z track. If we wanted to do some maybe training mode races. Yeah, we'd have to do something weird, like some training mode races for sure, because it's a small track.
Oh, wow.
Boy, I bet
That would be fun.
we'd only have to do one person at a time and like time you for 30 seconds. Because 2 cars, 3 cars on that track, as fast as we are, might be a little bit crazy. Be blowing cars off the track.
Just make it an oval.
Yes, that's actually a really good idea. We could just make an oval. That would be perfect. That's the only... If any of you guys want to join in for Oval Mini Z...
Yeah.
Oh, what's it
Oval
called?
racing.
When they used to... Tar Heels is gone now. We were talking NASCAR earlier, guys. They were racing NASCAR in the Coliseum on that little tiny indoor... The Coliseum football stadium.
Yeah.
It'd be like NASCAR Coliseum. It'd be such a tiny little oval for Mini Zs.
So tiny.
Hell yeah. So, thanks for joining in, guys. We really do
Thanks for
appreciate it.
joining.
If you could give us a thumbs up, it really
2
does make
thumbs
a
up.
difference. If you could,
Your friends could give you thumbs
subscribe and maybe check out some of the videos. We don't only do live streams. I have a ton of videos on the channel too, bashing videos, some track
Something in my eye.
videos. But we really do appreciate it, guys. It's been a fun show. Went about 30 minutes or 45 minutes longer than we thought we would, but it always happens. Once we get going,
It gets going.
it gets going. Yeah. So thanks a lot, guys. So I'm gonna cut the audio off. We're gonna leave the camera rolling. Audio will be off. If anyone chats in, I'll pick back up and a reply to you. But
Yeah.
we're just going to be kind of wrapping it up for the next 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll be out of here.
Yes.
But thanks a lot for CHelios and me, JB, and my buddy Spike, my dog sleeping here in the corner. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Be good to everybody. And just have fun. That's all we're here for. It's RC cars.
It's all fun.
We're just here for fun, guys. It's just a lot of fun. So, what do you think, David? Good times?
Good times.
Yeah, it's good times. I can't
Always
wait to
good
go rip
times.
this bad boy out there. Can't wait to see it glisten in the sun. It's going to look sharp, I think.
I always tell people, techno is a great platform. You want to go on the street, do that. You want to go off-road, put some off-road tires.
Well, I don't know how they'll do on the street. I just am driving it because I never drive it in the dirt anymore. So it'll be fun, and I live around asphalt parking lots. Yeah. And I had a set of hoons sitting around, and I wanted to test chrome paint. Oh, look at this. Speaking of that, I'm not sure if Chris is still around. I need to get another body. This body is shot for my Techno Truggy. I actually want to get two. I'd rather get Pro line bodies if they have them, but I don't know if they're available right now. If not, I'll get two of these. I'm going to do one in my yellow blue, and I'm going to do one in chrome, but they're both going to be for off-road. So 2 Techno bodies. I'll be ordering those next week.
Nice. I think we have a Truggy body.
I don't know if we do. I think we're out. Well, maybe. All right, guys. I hear the ghetto bird right over us right now. Oh, I saw a chase leaving the shop today. It was a murder suspect.
What?
Dude, Los Angeles is fucking crazy. Yeah. It is sick. I see. And we live in a pretty nice area, actually. We're not even in a crummy area.
Yeah.
It's always something going on.
Always something.
All right, guys. Well, really appreciate your thumbs up. We appreciate everything in the chat.
Thanks for all the comments.
And if you guys want, you can help lead the thing. Go to my JBRC Garage Instagram and send me a message and say, hey,
suggestions.
What can you guys talk about this? Or do you know anything about this? Or have you ever used this paint? Or have you ever used these tires? Have you ever drove these cars? Ask us.
I would love to do the research too.
Yeah, we'll do the research on it and we can bring it to you. Mm-hmm. We have access to most RC brands or cars, batteries, chargers, tires. I mean, we've messed with a lot of it. And if we haven't, we know someone who has.
Exactly.
So we have a lot of access. If you guys have any questions, and that's something I'm going to do in season 2, which will be coming up here in a little while. It'll have a way that you guys can reach out to us. It'll be more social media influence where you guys can interact throughout the week, and I can tailor the show to what you guys want to hear. That's what makes it fun.
What?
Well, this is season 1. This has been a total shit show of just trying to figure out how to make it work. But I think we've done a decent job of figuring out how to make it work.
We've done okay.
At least technically, so far. And if I move to a better place with a better Wi-Fi, it'll even get better. So we'll just see. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. From the garage, I'm JB.
This is CHelios.
And that's my buddy Spike, and we are out. Have a good night, guys. All right, here, let me just pull these. Thank you, David. That was a good show. Or CHelios. That was great, dude.
The cover photo for the next video.
I think it's gonna be.
This is a quick recap.
All right, good night, guys. Been a great time. Thank you so much. Here's all your chat behind the scenes. This is what it looks like to go from the host chair. Looking over at CHelios right there doing his thing. The host chair, where I have to look and see what the chats are. And here's my favorite little buggy. Live in 5. Futaba FX10. That's some old school stuff. Chris Verano could tell you about that, I'm sure. Charger. Yeah, guys, a little behind the scenes after hours. Wall of dead motors. And there's more growing. You notice most of them are cheap Spectrums and stuff like that. Yeah, they don't work too well. All right, guys, good night. We're out of here.